Hey, we're here. Six Man Tag Podcast again. Your ears and your eyes, whichever
Maybe your
place.
nose.
Well, I don't think they want the smell-o-vision version of this.
No, probably not.
I'm not sure what that would be, but use your own imaginations. Although, unlike, well, no, I'll say this. Wrestling fans can get a bad rap for uh hygiene.
Yes.
So I I don't I myself don't fall into that category. I use soap. But anyway, yes, this is episode 72. Last week was our WrestleMania 40 preview, and today, WrestleMania 40 recap. That shit happened. Oh boy,
Oh boy.
it was something.
Yes, it
Um,
was.
so let's get these intros out of the way, and then we'll just get right into an awesome WrestleMania. I'm Mike. Joining me as always is
Hmm.
huh,
Huh.
huh,
This is odd.
huh, huh.
Hmm.
Well, CJ's not here.
Okay.
Um, Bellyache?
I'm gonna just go with yes.
Anyway, Mr. Bellyache not here, but he'll be back next time.
Yes.
But the person that is here, see, I don't even do this intro as good as CJ does, so it's a real bummer he's not here. But the man with 1,004 intros, uh, it's it's Skylar. I can't do the whole shtick. It's Skylar.
It's okay. We don't need to do the whole shtick because I'm not here to do my own intro. I am here to introduce our final boss of the podcast, Mr. Denny Cashman himself, Dennis Mouse.
Yeah, it's Mania time, so I gotta be here. It's
Mm,
like all the celebrities come out. The
yeah.
the boss the boss shows up, but
Mm-hmm.
no man. This
It's just
is this is the first WrestleMania I've watched start to finish live. So
ah,
um and I I have a lot to say,
mhm.
and I just want to thank everyone for coming out.
No,
Oh, fuck
we
you,
made it.
Deej. um, so I mean, I was thinking about how to sort of go through this, and I feel like to start. I mean, we'll go
The
through each
start is a good
match.
place to begin.
Fuck you. God damn it. That's a good one. Um, like we'll go through each match, but I feel like overall, this really was one of the best WrestleManias. It's
Top five,
very
easy,
it's very hard to say that in the moment, just days after it
I'd say
happens.
top. I'd say about you could argue top three.
possibly.
I
Yeah.
think quality wise, I could say top three.
Mhm.
I think importance wise, I think it's hard to argue, like one and three for their
This
importance.
I would go ahead and I don't even think this is a hot take, but like I would argue it if we're bringing up importance, I think this is the most important one since WrestleMania 1, if we're
I
being
think
honest.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think the theme of this WrestleMania was like I know that the last 18 months we've sort of been in a different era, but this WrestleMania is just confirming we are leaving all the Vince McMahon stuff in the past. We are
Why? What did he do?
not great stuff.
Nah.
What?
Mm. But
Anyway,
I
There
think
might
this
be
can
some poop. There might be some poop involved.
oh yeah. Yeah.
I wish it weren't a joke.
You can look it up yourselves. I'm not going to say it here. Um but
Do your own research.
we're leaving that behind. Like it was made very obvious all weekend. This is, Triple H, Paul Levesque, whatever you want to call him. It's his era. This WrestleMania felt like a restart, a soft reset, if you will,
Yes.
based on the most of the results that happened, especially on Sunday. Um, it's we're leaving all the stuff from the last 40 years. We can appreciate that it all happened, but we're moving forward. We're starting fresh.
Oh,
It's an exciting time. I think there's just a lot of good things coming from this. Not everything
allegedly,
not everything's going to be perfect.
What?
That's just wrestling, but I think we saw clearly we're going in a new direction. We're leaving the past in the past. This is what we are now.
one thing I do want to point out is you said wrestling, and from everything I've heard, they're trying to leave the term sports entertainment behind.
Which I can see both sides of it. I can understand why Vince McMahon wanted to push stuff as entertainment because it truly is.
Mhm.
But to ignore what this all truly is professional wrestling would just be silly because
I don't think that's as big of a deal as people is making it out to be. I think for the circumstances, I think it is. I mean, everyone looked at WWE was like, okay, this is wrestling for the most part. I mean,
right.
it's just the more or less the acknowledgement in using the terminology.
Mhm.
I think it's sort of like them doing that is like really emphasizing the okay, we're turning a page. But in actuality, I don't think it's like a huge deal. I think
Right.
it's important, but I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think it's like this like that huge. And that's just my opinion,
I think
obviously.
it's I mean from my standpoint I think it's a big deal in a sense of like wrestling felt like this curse word to Vince McMahon
Fair enough. Yeah,
for the
fair.
last 20 years.
Dude, they could say hospital now. That's
I
huge.
know. It's like these weird like and granted a lot of this stuff would come from like dirt sheet reports, but it's like if you read that stuff and then go watch the shows, that it was all correct. Like there was clearly stuff that commentators weren't allowed to say, wrestling being one, like you said,
Right.
hospital being one, and all these different things. And it's just like, and it's probably for more people our age and stuff, and like definitely older people that do watch. I think just doing this stuff, it's not to say insulting intelligence or anything like that, but it's like I think I think they're catering to more of an audience. I think not necessarily move away from like PG stuff, but just like certain things that people like us would like kind of roll our eyes at, I feel like they're getting rid of. Just like little nuances here and there, and just be like,
It's
it's
funny too because they still say superstars in like WWE Universe, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Because not that that's worse or anything, but like
yeah.
WWE Universe sounds weird. And
They've
like
been they
It
yeah.
always
Superstar
has.
It's very funny.
Superstar
Yeah,
like is fine because like I get it.
yeah,
You're almost like branding them instead like
yeah.
saying I'm not student athletes or whatever they want to call them. But
Right.
they I don't know. That's
Yeah,
been always weird to
and
me. And they
it's
still
funny,
do that.
and I agree with that because like I was like rewatching something from like the early 2010s recently, and it was when they were first starting to push that, and it was so bad how like they would in like a 10-second span they would try and squeeze WWE Universe into a sentence like any chance they could, just because
Right.
they were trying to push like those terms. It's like I get it, but it's like all right, it's like at a certain point, it's like we can say it, but let's relax a little bit
Yeah.
here. Um, but and the other thing to just what seems to come out of all this is, and I'll save it because it has to do more so with like the main event, all the thoughts I have of overall. We'll save it for when we get to the when we get to that lovely main event. Um, I asked this to the guys last week. You know, what do we prefer? One night, two nights? This 2 night thing is the absolute way to go.
Yeah,
To try
I'm
and
finally on board with it. Totally.
cram all this stuff into one night is just too much. It would be it would be exhausting to go like it's like funny because I went to WrestleMania 32 and it's like the show was probably like 6 hours or 7 hours. And then the show is probably like a good like 3 hours and 45 minutes. And it's like I don't feel like I didn't get my money's worth going. Like
And plus, you have to
sometimes
remember too that like people got used multiple times too, so it was like,
right. Yeah. And I was happy to see that. Like I understand maybe the main purpose of the 2 nights is to just strictly split the card and to really not have anything
right,
interchange. But there's a lot of interesting ways, and maybe we'll talk about it at the end, but there's interesting ways you can work both nights. And I did like how they did this. They did this year to kind of have, you know, night one means something leading into night two. There's always ways I think they can do it. So I hope they do. What maybe not the main event, but I hope they do a few things like that going forward. Have almost like battle royal, and then the winner gets to face someone on night two or something for like the intercontinental title or something like
And
that.
they really didn't even do. I know that. I mean, obviously, again, we'll get into it, but they didn't. There wasn't like a ton of like, oh my god, nostalgia. It was a lot of just
like you can say like all the main event stuff, but like it all tied into the story. It wasn't there
yeah.
for
I
the
mean,
sake
there
of just
was
being
one
there.
you could kind of go, all right, that's a little left field, but it
Mhm.
wasn't like super significant. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't like
Right.
years ago where, oh, look, here's Stone Cold, HBK, and John
Yeah.
Cena for some reason. And I believe
Right.
HBK was in his wrestling gear. I don't know if anybody knew that or caught
Yeah.
that, but he was.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
They tricked him into that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I thought, like I said, this is one of the best WrestleManias. Um,
Ever.
I don't know. Yeah. And it's like it seems crazy to say it, but that's where we were at. Like again, it's like it's very tough in the moment to say, "Oh, this was the best" when it just happened, but I mean, it's hard to argue.
There are very few times when I go back and watch like just the ending of the main event multiple times.
Yep.
And
That
it
5 to
still
10
hits.
minutes is unreal.
Yes.
I think you called it as the Avengers Endgame, which was
Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
basically what it was. You know
Yep.
what I mean? For lack of a better word, that's essentially
No,
what it
that's exactly
was.
what it was for multiple reasons, but save all our thoughts for when we get to that main event because we got to open with night one first.
And how do
All
we
right,
open
all
night
right,
one?
Booker man.
Ha.
Also, by the way, worst musical performance I think I've ever seen was Lil Wayne. Just saying. That
Well,
was
I
bad.
mean,
That was bad. It was really
well,
bad.
he was probably not
But Snoop
sober.
Dogg, Snoop Dogg though. Oh, I'm sorry.
Um,
Motionless in White was really bad too. That was
not as bad as the last band that performed Rhea Ripley's song on a pay-per-view.
who was that? I don't know.
I can't remember what band did her old song, but they were bad.
Okay, yeah. Motionless in White is like such a
Yeah.
ugh.
Right. Yeah. And anyway, but speaking of, so yeah, that open night one, probably an appropriate match to open Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch.
Supposedly Becky wanted to, I don't know, storyline or not, but she wanted to open the card.
I mean that's fair. It's probably a good spot.
Yeah.
It's a good spot to just open the WrestleMania. Um, good match. I like that Rhea retained because
Yep.
I feel like me personally, I feel like Becky could use a heel turn and maybe, but I don't even know if it would work because she tried being a heel and everyone loved her
Yeah.
the last time she tried that.
No,
But
I think her and Seth should take a little time away personally.
I agree.
But we'll address
We
Seth
will.
later,
We'll get to that. But
Yeah.
listen, a great match to open WrestleMania. I mean,
Yeah.
and this is the thing, like I just, I think I think the women's division over the next year or two, especially under Triple H, is going to develop more and more. And I think you're going to have more legit stars, whether it be, I think whether it be like a Jade Cargill or, there's a few others in NXT that are coming along.
Sol Ruka.
Oh, dude, some of those moves are like, I don't
I
even know how
love
to,
her.
I'm like, I don't even know how you pull that off, but
I don't know who that is, but
Go into the chat and look at the Instagram.
oh yeah, she did that. Yeah, okay, fair.
Her finisher is
that
basically
like,
going up the turnbuckle, turning inside, and
yeah,
then hitting somebody with an RKO. You
yeah.
have to see it.
So I have to say, I have to basically, maybe I'm gonna cancel myself by saying this. I am very much my opinion on women's wrestling has completely 180'd. And it in fact, I never did not like it. I just was like, there was no, I think when I like first started getting back into it, I think it had a lot to do with like who was kind of on top where Charlotte Flair kept getting pushed. And
Right.
Understandable.
I was kind of just like, eh. And you can say what you want. Like, I don't really like Liv Morgan. Like, I think she seems like a great person. Like, I mean, I've never met her, obviously, but
Right.
I like Liv.
but like to me, like I don't see that. Like, I really don't. But then like I started like getting in, like seeing more and like what like Rhea is fantastic. And then
Yes.
Becky does a great job, and then you have like I'll tell you who honestly sold it for me, and I know this is off topic, but like Tiffany Stratton completely just
Mhm.
like I watched that, I was like, no fucking
Mhm.
way. Like I was so blown away by that.
Mhm.
And the first match was that it was like I don't think it would have been like years ago, like watching that match, like, okay, this is like a whatever. But now I think like it's like, okay, we're gonna get you going. Like, and this
Yeah.
is and plus they were saying Becky had like a like strep or something like that, which
Yep.
just makes it like even more impressive. And I
Yeah.
think everybody knew that one, especially I think Skylar mentioned it, where the match spot was that Rhea was gonna retain, but still it was I thought it was fantastic. It's the one that's furthest away, so it's like sort of tough to remember
Yeah.
what happened, but
Right.
I remember enjoying it, and I was like, you know what, this was good. If this is going to be the tone setter, like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. And listen, it was good. It was a great opening match because if nothing else, the opening match of WrestleMania has to be, for the
The
most
tone
part,
setter.
right. Exactly. Like it needs to be one of what is going to be one of the better matches on the card. And I mean, you can go back for all the bad stuff in WrestleMania, the last however long, the opening match is usually very,
I
very
always think
good.
of was it Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio for the cruiserweight title? I always think
Yeah.
of that one.
At 19.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
was It's Safeco, was it? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, a good match. Listen, Rhea retains. I like it just because I don't. I mean, at this point, why have her lose at this point? I think, you know, I think she actually had more to gain than Becky Lynch did in that match, and someone like Becky Lynch can find her way back into the title picture pretty easily. Granted, had Rhea lost, she could have as well, but at this point, why end this reign if you're gonna, if you're going to start developing these, stronger, bigger women that will match up better, at least just from a visual standpoint with Rhea Ripley.
When
Let
do we
Rhea
get Rhea versus Jade?
next year.
Yeah, probably.
I think I mean, I'll save it because that match is coming up because that tag was in night one. Um, but yeah, man. So let's move on to the next one. What was the next match? The ladder match right
Ladder
after,
match.
right?
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
listen.
It was a car crash. It was
Yeah.
fun.
CJ said it on our preview pod. You need the car crash matches, at least one of them on the card, and this was certainly it. Um, I guess we'll get to the finish. I liked who came away with the titles on both ends. I like that they're split again
Thank God.
because I think the undisputed, it worked for what the story was when the Usos won it a couple years ago.
Hmm.
But we are getting back into that, you know, I hate to use the word stale by any means because like I didn't think the Judgment Day had a bad tag title run by any means, but it was time to at least split them up.
Yes.
So I'm happy. And like I said, if you're going to keep the brand split, especially they announced on Raw they're going to do the draft. So for at least the short term, you're going to be legit with the brand split. Um, so I liked Awesome Truth winning. I think we figured that would happen. It was just a
Yes.
matter of, hey, which
Do
one?
not undersell R-Truth's first WrestleMania win.
Oh no, not at all.
No,
Do
no.
not. Do
No,
not in this house.
no, no.
And he got over his fear of heights. So
Yes.
This is
I think
true.
that's the more important thing. And
And
there
he
were
he he
no
technically right.
spiders on the ladder.
No,
There were
right.
none.
Yeah, right. He not only won a match, but he climbed the ladder and won the tag team titles.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
The best.
And that hot tag, oof, that was one of
Yeah.
the biggest hot
Mhm.
tags ever.
Mm.
You know what? I don't know how long they're gonna hold that title for. Yeah, I can't imagine for long. But
I
it
mean,
if it but it feel
little
let's even still like let's say they do, they don't.
yeah.
I still think that that's like just the biggest thank you they can give to Truth for like,
Mm.
hey, thanks for being like this, like one of the bright spots over
Right.
however many, years or whatever. But
Yeah.
there were some big spots in that match too. There was some.
Yeah. Well, and I liked when Grayson Waller pulled the belts down and then just still fighting and then getting power bombed onto that ladder to the outside just while holding the title.
Yeah, just for
Yeah.
no reason
Yeah.
So
whatsoever.
I personally think A-Town Down Under was kind of random. I mean,
Man.
but I
Meh.
also, but I also like the fact how they like, oh shit, everyone's gone. Get the ladder, rush up.
Yeah.
Like it's like
It's actually
obvious.
realistic.
It's
Yeah.
realistic.
They could do it because they knew that wasn't going to end the match. So you could get away with it.
Yeah.
And
Was this the match where with that? I could be wrong. Was this the match with the massive DDT through the table to the outside?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
was like to do like
Yeah.
the margin of error for something like that
Yep.
is like small. And
Yeah.
it like I don't think anybody got paralyzed as far as I know.
Nope, everyone's walking.
And
Yep.
then there was the other spot. There was the other big spot there. I can't
Johnny
remember what it was.
Gargano knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was great. I love the DX entrance with that. I
Yeah.
thought that was fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I love that they it's like I love the fact that like the thing is like now is that I love the fact that like WWE can like lean into the fact of like, hey, this can be funny too. Like
Right.
it's not all just like we are professional wrestlers and
Yeah.
like it's like R-Truth said that this was DX and like, hey, let's lean into that. People think it's funny and like, aha, it's funny. And then like it's not like you're not burying somebody doing something like that. I think I enjoy that.
Not to get into this fucking IWC shit again, but it's like I have to bring it up when something like this happens, but it's like that's who makes it insufferable. Like
Yeah.
it's the people that truly just can't sit back and watch a television show and just enjoy all the different elements. It's like
Yeah.
you need to realize you're essentially watching a movie. It's like why if fucking Spider-Man does bullshit, it's fine, but then if wrestling does something, it's like but it's literally the comparison. Like if
No,
I'm
it's
fu-
not.
if,
It's
but
not. You're
like
right.
if like a Marvel movie has like comedy in it when it's supposed to be a serious fight, but wrestling it's fine. But if like wrestling does it, it's like this whole fight. It's like this insult to people.
We need to make a tag at that pod. We're gonna get sued for it, but 6-man tag podcast. If Spider-Man does bullshit, like it's just a picture of the Spider-Man meme with our faces on it, just pointing at each other.
Fuck.
No,
It's a good one.
it's so funny though because it's like I feel like it's almost strange. Like it's like weird because you tell people like this. I know this is off topic, but like you tell people that like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna like people are asking me what I was doing this weekend. I'm like, I'm gonna be watching Wrestlemania and getting drunk, and they're like, they either go, oh, that's so sick, or they go, why do you still watch wrestling? It's like because I like it. Like you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like
it's like, hey, I'm gonna go sit in the movie theater and watch Marvel Endgame. Like when that came out.
But I think
Everyone
it's
was
weird
like,
because
man.
I think people think it has this weird. It's like this. It's not quite as I'm burping and coughing at the same time. As it's not quite theater and it's not quite athleticism. And I think people like kind of can't get over it. It's like it's an athletic contest that has a predetermined thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I don't know. I think it's hotter than it's just like ever.
Yeah.
It's been in a long, long time.
It's very funny because I had like someone be like, what even and I'm like I'm aware that I'm essentially watching a movie. Like I'm fully aware of that concept. It's just so happens to be a different form of it. It's like it's like I've always said like what's the difference?
I always tell people it's like a play. Like it's like a musical. It's like a play. It's like you'll go to Broadway, you'll go watch. It's not actually fucking Mary Poppins flying across the.
It's like the same
stage.
way you can appreciate fucking stunts in an action movie.
Right.
It's similar shit. Like to an extent. It's like yes, it's presented as this athletic competition and a sport, but like we know it's just like that's why like when people get all fucking bent out of shape, like why are they doing the G? It's like probably because Triple H was like, yeah, man, go out there and say suck it. Like like I don't know, yeah, man, go fucking pedigree him. Like do your thing. Like you're getting more mad at the guy they're supposedly making. Like it's just like I don't know.
I think the one thing I've learned as I get older, and you guys could probably like relate to this, is like I think that phase of my life where I give a fuck about what people think about my hobbies and shit is like
that's true too.
It's like
It's
over.
gone.
Like you know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like I really don't. Like I got into wrestling to have something to talk to you guys about, and now I really like it. And if anybody thinks that's weird or laughs at me,
go fuck yourself.
I don't care. I really don't, man. Because it was like I genuinely like in the first time in a long time, I like all day was like looking forward to it. Like I
Yeah.
planned my day around it. And
all of us too that have been watching forever. Trust me.
yeah, it's
Same.
strange, man, because like back because like
Usually it's like, oh yeah, WrestleMania. Okay.
yeah, no, I get that, man. And I think there's something like, and it feels nice to be like a part of this again. Because back in the day, like my parents wouldn't really let me, so I'd have to sneak wrestling. Like I'd have to sneak watching it on UPN 9, and like it was
Yeah.
different. Like it was like me just like Brock was like,
It's like a
or the
family.
Big
There's a
Show,
Family
or
Guy joke there about UPN somewhere.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But you said that last time I brought that up. But yeah, but it's like now it's just like it's an event. It's not like a larger than life thing. It's just like
Yeah.
it's entertainment and it's
Right.
fun. Like it's I don't know. And I think this, if anything, I think the one thing I take away, and like not to jump to a summary because we still have 80% of the card, if not more, left to go through.
Yes.
But I think it brought a lot of the magic back and to this that was desperately needed. And they came through because they could have flopped and they
Yep.
didn't. So anyway, take it away, Bruce.
But yeah, no, listen, the ladder match, listen, your typical car crash match, we
It was
got
fun.
it accomplished their goal. We split the tag titles. We can now have, two tag title matches on a pay-per-view if we're gonna I try and again, and it goes to say, like, I'm talking about all this new era stuff. If they split the tag titles under, I'll just say under Vince McMahon, even in my own head, there's whenever they would do stuff under Vince McMahon, there wasn't this confidence that they would just stick with it, good or bad. Because if you have something bad, I think there's ways to tweak it and work on something to hope something gets over. Whereas I think under Vince McMahon, a lot of stuff would just be like, yeah, we're just not doing that, pal. So I feel like they're going to split the tag titles, and I trust the people in charge now to be like, hey, let's do the best we can to make both of these tag titles matter and have good feuds and have just good tag team wrestling on both shows, which then translates to good tag team wrestling.
Plus, it made sense to
More
have like a
tag team
heel and a
wrestling.
face too,
Oh no, for sure.
which I kind of didn't think about in the moment. But
Yeah.
then it was like when the dust settled,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. It's,
oh
I
yeah,
mean, when you have separate shows, if you're running it like it's two different companies, as they should with these two, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter as much. But for one match, it does make sense to at least you have this heel team win and then the baby faces can go over at the end of it, which is what they did, and it worked. So, and it's funny because even if, it's like, and it's funny because someone like, Waller in theory can, if someone's like, oh, you didn't win both, and they're like, all right, well, we're gonna run this shit,
right.
which is what they're clearly doing already. So
Mhm.
Plus,
it worked.
Truth pinned a guy. So for a 3
That's
count.
what I mean. He won a match and climbed the ladder and got a title.
Listen, a clean pin.
Yeah.
Clean pin
Yeah.
over Judgment
From
Day.
his childhood hero, John Cena.
I know
who he
we're not
looks up
talking
to.
about the Raw, but when he came out with the title with Rhea and
Oh, yeah.
Damian,
Yeah.
it was the best. Oh
Yeah,
man,
it
I
was.
love that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, move on to the next match.
Rey Mysterio and Andrade against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Listen, Dom's gonna get heat forever, and it's the best because I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
it's
anybody
piped
expected
in
this.
though. I heard it
It's
was piped in.
confirmed. Well, I can't say for this WrestleMania, but confirmed at the Royal Rumble, not piped in by me.
He
And
got
Anthony.
booed at his own wedding.
He did, which was very funny. If you've seen
Which
that
is
video
hilarious.
circulating,
Yeah,
online.
that was really funny.
But listen, a solid, like I said, a solid match.
Solid tag match.
All four of those guys are good. I
I
thought they
kind
were
of
gonna
want to. I kind of want to know why they removed Dragon Lee.
because I think it comes back to me because it's like I know how good he is, like athletically,
Oh yeah.
but I don't think people care, and people do care about Andrade. I think it's as simple as that. It's no offense to him. It's no offense to, like luchadors or anything like him, but Andrade's the bigger star. I think that's all it comes down to.
I do believe Dragon Lee was killed in the making of the movie The Crow of 1994. Do I have that right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know anything about Dragon Lee. I know on Andrade, but this match, I liked this match. I thought it was really good, especially the springboard. That was fantastic. I didn't like him saying, "Let's make a WrestleMania moment." Like, I think that's a little corny, but like, who cares at the end of the day?
Yeah.
That springboard was like the one thing that stands out in my mind. I'll
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you what I didn't like, and I know why they did it. I did not like the ending in this match. I felt like it was a little cheap. I was not a fan.
Well, also the fact that we're Giants fans.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, that does. But poor,
Yeah.
poor us. Hold on, let me just drink really quick.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I didn't, and I get why they did it, but like I feel like with a feud as personal as that,
Mhm.
with Dom and his, and his
Yeah.
father, to have outside interference by
Yeah.
fucking like, okay, you could have got Jason Kelsey involved somehow, but Lane fucking Johnson, like
Yeah.
what?
It's very funny because although I do think a bunch of locals are there, although I will say that within 10 minutes of me sitting in my section, some dude in Eagles hoodie walks by and some dude, and I just had to hear "Go Birds" for 2 minutes straight, just in that Pennsylvania fucking
I again,
accent,
oh
and
my
I'm just like,
gosh.
okay,
Like also last night, don't know if you watched the Rangers game, but the drunkest Islanders fan in the world was sitting next to the MSG microphone,
oh
and
no,
he chanted "Let's go Islanders" for no joke the entire period, like every period. It was brutal.
no,
But
I didn't have the audio on, so
you're lucky. It
yeah,
was so bad. But no, I I didn't love the ending. I felt like that was a cheesy way to kind of end that
yeah.
feud. I
I
get
don't know.
why they did. I get why they did it. I
I don't know if it can. I don't
understand.
know if it will ever. Like they can always just be like, yeah, we're just gonna revisit this.
Right. And I get that. I just for me, like it was kind of cheap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like
I
at the end,
personally, I
like
guess,
if that was fucking like, I don't know, Daniel Jones, I would boo him. But like if that was like, I don't know, Dexter Lawrence and like
still in,
Kayvon
still in on it. But
Kayvon
carry on.
Thibodeau, like I would be all about it. Like I get why they did it. It just for me, it's like
Yeah.
not my favorite. Not my favorite
I
way.
just thought they were gonna let Dom get one over and kind of even the score there,
Oh
and
yeah, and not
and
get
then
spanked in the middle of the ring.
right, and then they could have, and then maybe there could have been a bigger blow off in the future. I don't know. I guess I'm not. I was all wrong with where I thought that was going. I truly thought Dom and Andrade were gonna get like something going, and maybe there'd be tension within the Judgment Day, but I guess I read that one wrong for now.
No, that one again, I didn't know the story that much on that one. That's one I sort of didn't follow, but
Yeah. I
I thought
mean
the
that
match overall was really good.
yeah, that whole story was a fairly recent like
Right.
development anyway. It'd only been going on maybe a few weeks with at least like the Dominic and Andrade stuff. They were sort of teasing a little bit. So I also it's just that I also just prefer a heel Andrade personally.
Yeah. I like
I think
Andrade though.
I like Andrade, and also it was kind of cool seeing him back with Zelina Vega for
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true too. I didn't even think of that part, honestly. I forgot. It's like it hasn't been that long, but it's been long enough since he first like left or split with her, whatever the deal was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, listen, good match. The baby faces go over, yeah, obviously the Kelsey Lane
And,
Johnson stuff, it is what it is. Obviously we're gonna be, as Giants fans and be like, whatever.
yeah.
But
What
sure.
do we got next?
Oh God, what was next on this? The Uso match. Listen,
Mm,
Me. I
I
have a lot to
didn't
say. I want to hear what you got to have to say.
like I didn't hate it for what it was. I know they're trying to tell a story. I think the match itself probably could have been a little better. I was surprised to see no interference at all in that match. I feel like more of an involvement from
like
I feel
Solo.
yeah, just Solo though. Like and I get it. You were obviously saving a lot of that stuff for the Sunday main event, but this was Saturday. There still could have been a spot for something because I think there could be more layers to just that, and especially if going forward, if Roman's going to be away for a little while, I think there's a story to be told with those three at a
Yeah.
certain point. I know Jay faced Solo on SmackDown before, but it's like they just kind of went into a no contest with all the interference and stuff. But I think that there's still a deeper story to be told, and I kind of knew between SummerSlam, you knew when the turn happened originally at SummerSlam that it was going to try and set up a WrestleMania match because you had kind of heard those rumors anyway back
Mhm.
then. So it was like, all right, well, how do we get from July to April? And we had our moments. Obviously, you had the Royal Rumble, which was a nice little, okay, well, these guys get to face off a little bit here. But yeah, I was surprised Jay went over clean, but I guess I don't know where Jimmy goes from here. The match, sure, did it fall a little flat? Probably. I still didn't hate it. I think there was still this, it was in the middle of the card. I think had I thought this was going to open the show. I guess I'm glad it didn't,
Yeah.
and that it was in the middle instead, as it was. But this was one where I was hoping that that match would have been on Sunday, and now seeing it play out, I'm glad it wasn't. I don't think I hated it as much as, like I know you guys might have, but
I
yeah,
didn't really hate it. I didn't
I
hate it.
didn't hate it.
it did fall a little flat, I think, considering what those guys can do.
Yeah. But it also just felt like they were trying to outdo the Young Bucks with super kicks.
True. Maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah, before I give my opinion, there's one man in the world whose wrestling opinion I trust more than anybody's, and it's the guy who's below me right here. It's Skylar's, and if he like, first of all, I just want to hear what he thinks about the match in general. But if he's sort of like agreeing that it was kind of meh, I feel sort of vindicated in my wrestling opinion, at least, because he's like the what was that show? It was it Stump the Schwab or Schwab.
Oh
on,
my God.
you remember that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's Skylar, but with wrestling. So, which could be a segment on future shows. Stay tuned or don't. I don't care. I want to hear what Skylar has to say about this match, because I want to see if my opinion and his are kind of congruent.
No, I just felt like they were spamming the super kicks way too much. And I don't know. It just it felt like it never got to second gear, really. Like it felt like it just kind of, for the audience at home, I'm kind of just doing a flatline thing. Or the audience that's listening. But I don't know, like for what these two are capable of, it could have been better. But then again, I don't know. I kind of noticed that brother versus brother matches, like outside of Brett and Owen, not the greatest. I mean, we haven't had that many. I mean, the only other one I could think of off the top of my head were the Hardys, and that was
We talked about that.
Kane and Taker.
Oh, excuse me.
Right. Excuse me. Three times. Anyway, like if I was giving a 1 to 5 star rating, it'd get like 2.
Yeah. Like I said, not bad, but again, I think for where it was on the card, it kind of saved itself, because if it was the opener, it would seem much more disappointing than it was.
Yes.
I totally agreed with you on the this should open, and I think it's maybe because my expectations were so high that I'm gonna just say it. I thought it was bad. I did. I don't not like the Usos. I don't love them either. Maybe it's just because I'm not as familiar with them, but they remind me of they're just like, to me, they're the Samoan Young Bucks. And I don't like anything about the Young Bucks, like at all. I think they are what's wrong with modern wrestling. I don't like them. It also, whatever. But Jimmy and Jay are also, as like people and characters, I enjoy that a lot more, especially with the Bloodline. Like I enjoy that. That's what saves it for me. Like the style, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is I don't like as much. But someone said, I read it on, I don't know if it was Twitter or Reddit or something, but somebody said that match looked like 2 young children who were playing a video game, just spamming buttons, and they had no idea what they were doing. And it was very simple, because it looked like one of those I don't know how to articulate this, but it looked like one of those it looks like a fight, like where it's like, brother, it's like they're gonna go to the last like fist, and then whoever's left standing, but it was with super kicks, and it was like,
Yeah.
Like the ending, like I thought what ruined it for me was when Jimmy was like begging for forgiveness, and it was like, I would agree with this. Like, I get the psychology of this, and you knew what was coming, but like, I get it. Like, I do. Like, I get this. But like, nothing in the match had been done to like lead to him being on his ass begging for forgiveness. You know what I mean? It was like just,
right.
Okay, you got here, but like, you didn't do anything to get to this point.
Yes.
And like, I thought the ending was kind of nice, but whatever. But it was like, it left me wanting more, and I think because of the expectations, especially, the match didn't feel personal enough for the feud. And I know that they can continue to do something with it, but this was the place they should have blown it off, like big
Right.
time.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, I thought it was just like
Yeah.
lackluster. I got to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, and listen, it doesn't change my opinion on those guys. They're not my favorite. I still like them, but
Yeah.
not my favorite.
Yeah. So I mean, I do like them a lot. I think they're good. Like they're obviously like good wrestlers. I think Jay as a single, I think Jimmy has a spot because we've seen just with the how unserious he can be, which is great for what he
Mhm.
does. Like almost like R-Truth-esque, but as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jay is proven like over his fucking wrestler. He's gonna be in the world title match, whatever they're gonna do that. But
Would you
I
think that they're better off, like, kind of going the separate ways, like away from
for
the
for a bit
storyline?
because but I still again I could be wrong, but I do think there's some story to be told involving Solo. I don't know where that goes per se. I don't know if that involves them maybe not tag teaming, but them being on the same page again, perhaps.
Well,
Something because I again, and I'll just take it, again, I'm not to go out of order, but Triple H said in that one of that press conference, he's like, Roman Reigns isn't done. He's going to move on to a whole other thing and,
mhm.
do his thing. So I don't, I
Probably
don't,
feuding with the Hurricane.
Yes.
we can wish,
Yes.
Whoa, whoa,
but,
whoa, whoa.
but
Wish?
just with that, like they're like, there's a ton of stories that can be told.
Not to
So
not to mention the rumors that we might get Tamatonga and Jacob Fatu.
that's what I mean. So like there's still a lot more layers to this. So I'm still interested in where they go, even though this match didn't quite deliver for it to be a WrestleMania match. Part of me also thinks that I just think I don't WrestleMania is like obviously like the show, and that's where, but I don't necessarily think it's where stories need to end anymore. I think that was always the case with Vince McMahon, but again, in this new kind of storytelling era, yes, to an extent, WrestleMania can be your blow off and stuff, but it
It
doesn't
can also
have to
be your
just
beginning.
exactly. And, again, I know maybe it's just me trying to justify this match that wasn't very good into something more than it is, but
I mean, both can be true. You know what I mean?
Yes.
right,
I think
but
it's just expectations. I think
yeah,
it makes
yeah,
sense, but I think the match itself just was not
right.
very good.
Right, but in terms of storytelling, like they're both awesome in terms of telling a story. So I am interested in where they go, and I think there's a lot of stories to be told with them. So I don't think they're done with each other yet.
No.
Fair.
Same. They might separate for like a little bit, but I could see them come back around like maybe around SummerSlam
That's what I'm thinking too. And like I
or
said,
Money in the Bank.
yeah, and like I said, like all these pay-per-views now, like they're trying to build up every single one. I know WrestleMania is WrestleMania, but they're trying to make every single one feel like a big deal now.
Yep.
Whether it be more stadium shows or just more international stuff to just make all these shows seem like a bigger deal, which is good. But
I think they've realized that. I mean, even guys like you guys are lifers. Like, you guys don't watch every week. And I think they understand that. I
Mhm.
think that people are kind of getting the Cliff Notes version and then going, okay, here's the pay-per-view. Let me tune
Mhm.
in. So I
Yeah.
think they're doing everything they can to make those pay-per-views be even
Mhm.
bigger than they used to be.
Right.
And I think it's
Yeah.
smart. Like, I
And
really
because
do.
even like I was watching obviously like the last few weeks more and more often with the build
Mhm.
up, but even still, like even if something cool happened, an entire 15-minute segment would be on Twitter in within an hour.
Right.
So it's like but like that's just how watching stuff has changed in general. It's like this is why when people want to bitch about ratings and this and that, it's like that's not the end all be all like it was in the Monday Night Wars. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
like the same video on YouTube is going to go get 2 million hits. Like that matters just as much as how many people are watching it live. Like
Right.
I agree with you for sure, man.
so it's
Like,
like so it's like that's why like you don't have to be I don't think you're at an advantage if you're just because you're watching every second of every week. Like I wasn't, but like it's so easy to just go back and watch. The fucking Rock beating up, Cody Rhodes, for example, like that whole 20-minute deal was up online in no time. So it's easy to get everybody caught up nowadays. Um, but you know, I don't know. It is what it is.
I think it's smart though to lean into that though, to like
Yeah.
understand that like
Mhm.
I think the problem is with like a lot of media like in general is that maybe not it's hard to find I use sports talk radio as an example. Like a lot of these like look at a place like I mean this is very niche to us, but
Yeah.
like WFAN's been dying for a long time because
Yeah.
they've refused to adapt. But meanwhile ESPN radio is thriving because they've more or less like kind of leaned more into the podcast nature of the
Yeah.
morning show as opposed to just
Mhm.
yeah, hey Ira, yeah, I
Yeah.
love the Mets. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
I think the WWE does a good job at like going,
Yeah.
and then even AEW I think does a good job of like adapting to the
Mhm.
okay, not everybody's tuned in every week. Not a lot of people even have fucking cable anymore.
Right.
Like we've got to get a way to get our product
Well,
out of
that's
there.
been
So
my well.
when
Don't get me started about my complaint with AEW not being available to legally stream anywhere. But that's
And
again
WWE be doing the smart thing with Raw next year.
Netflix big time
Netflix,
smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have Netflix, and I'm gonna get it for
Yeah.
that, and so I can watch.
I will
I
say,
think
as
you should
someone,
leave.
yes, yeah, as someone who hates ads on like streaming, the Netflix ad tier is tolerable. It's like maybe 2 30-second ads in an hour show.
Yeah, I mean, I could deal with that.
Whereas
I could deal
whereas
with
something
that.
like Hulu is like every fucking
Don't
5
get me
minutes
started on
a
fucking
reboot.
Amazon Prime. The richest company in the goddamn world, and they want to charge you $3
Oh
extra.
yeah, because they
When
can.
meanwhile, I'm paying you $100 every year for your fucking service. Fungal.
Yes,
Well
Anyway,
said.
agreed.
go
Anyway,
on.
so that was that was the Usos match.
Yeah.
6-woman tag. Again, I said this last week.
Love this
was
match. Love this match.
I said this last week. This was going to be a showcase for Jade Cargill, and it was.
Sold. Completely sold.
Mhm.
She
Agreed.
was fantastic. I also just love Bianca Belair. Like she's probably my favorite women's wrestler, but Naomi's also like getting like I don't know enough about her, but
She's always been pretty good. I just think it was not
she was women's
utilized.
champion at one point, wasn't she?
Twice.
Yes, I just think
Okay.
it wasn't utilized well when she was more popular.
Fair.
Because then it was that, and then it was the her and Sasha Banks walkout thing.
Yeah.
And then here she is coming back. But and listen, it was good. And like I said, the whole purpose was everyone do the work. Let's get Jade in there, look strong, and they did it. And I
Oh
think
boy, did she.
they're slowly bringing her along, which is the smart thing to do. They signed her. They're letting her train for a few months. She had a great appearance in the Royal Rumble, so I kind of don't
Mhm.
doubt her being able to work a 20-minute match when the time comes.
Mhm.
But until then, why? Like, not everything has to be that. Even like the Monday Night Raw match where she just, beat up Chelsea Green in 30 seconds. Like, that's all she has to do.
Who the fuck is Chelsea Green? That was hilarious. I don't.
Chelsea
No,
Green
she's
is
very good.
hilarious.
Yeah, she's very good.
That was with her conductor as Cat, but
She's actually married to Matt Cardona.
Yeah, used to be Zack Ryder.
he's in
So-
AEW now, isn't he?
Well, he was there.
all
He's
over
all
the
over the
place.
place. He showed up once to wrestle.
He's one of
Edge.
those indie darling guys. Like
Yeah.
just
Well,
Well-
he wasn't an indie darling guy, but after he got released, he made himself
Yeah.
all right.
king of the.
I will say though, I don't. I'm gonna address the IWC here.
Mhm.
I don't know what there is to complain about someone like Jade Cargill. I don't.
What
get
are they
it.
complaining about? Like
I don't know.
I must have missed something.
Okay, AEW is not the right fit for her.
Well,
Right.
yes, that was obvious.
I think that's what the biggest issue is.
Well, yeah, but it was odd. But like that was clear as day as it was happening.
Yeah, true.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Little treat for the YouTube audience there. Little chest action.
Oh yeah, you guys saw that?
Mm-hmm.
I did flash Mike before. So
You like that side? You like that side boob? Well, you shouldn't.
I don't got any hair on the top
that's-
of my head, but oh boy, do I have it on my chest.
You
and
shouldn't,
the
because that's
body.
my side
Nice.
boob.
Good
I
night,
like-
everybody.
I feel like people forget that like attraction wrestling is the thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like I think, and I know this is not my opinion. It's not like an original opinion, but like I feel like that's where WWE went wrong with the Big Show, is they never Like the Big Show was just like this guy that they would build up and then have somebody squash.
Don't get me started with the monster wrestling in WWE for years. That was the Big Show and Kane spot, like fucking clockwork. Is
right,
hey, go beat everybody up and then fucking lose to John Cena or something.
right. But like I feel like it's almost like a really old school approach is to have like somebody like Andre, like to be like, okay, well,
Yeah,
you're not going to see him a lot, but when he
right.
does come out, he's going to squash you. So
Yes,
inevitably, when this person does beat them or when they win the title, it means something. And like
it's Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, like to a
right,
T.
exactly. And like I also think too, it's just like, what's wrong with having a fucking squash match?
There
Like
isn't.
Brock and Goldberg did that shit all the time.
Yeah.
What was wrong
I
with
don't
that
know
then?
if the people complaining now, they would not have survived those early Monday Night Raw days and those
Mm-mm.
early, like, so literally, if you went to a TV taping in the early 90s, whether it was when whatever the fuck they did, Wrestling Challenge, Superstars, whatever it was,
American
Saturday night,
Gladiators,
Saturday night shotgun.
oh, good Lord. But all
Velocity,
all those TV tapings were like,
Jacked.
you would watch fucking 4 hours because they used to tape like 4 weeks of TV or something at a time.
Yeah.
So you would go watch 4 hours of fucking squash matches, but they would advertise Hulk Hogan. So then
Right.
like you'd sit through all that for their TV, and then Hulk Hogan would go wrestle whoever the fuck in a dark match just so you'd get something to like
right?
go home happy. But it's like the people that complain now 30, 40 years ago, they wouldn't have like that same mindset back then. Like
Were
you'd be
these
like, I'm
same
not watching
people
this shit.
complaining when Ryback was doing handicap matches and beating the shit out of people? Or were they just enjoying it for saying, oh, wow, this guy is an
Well,
animal?
well, well, Ryback's a bad example.
You know what I mean? Is like he was
Because
very over at the time.
it's Ryback will feed me more.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like at that time, like, or even Brock. Brock was the same way.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
Oh, back
Hogan
in
was the same
'02,
way.
yeah. But
Yeah,
like
I
I don't
mean,
know, but that's the thing. Like are people like so like I'm not even familiar of what they're even complaining about this time. Is it truly just that she was in a squash match? Because I don't know what to tell
probably.
you.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, bud.
Also, not gonna like it's like I think sometimes people like really need to take a step back and literally fuck their own face. What some people need to actually take a step back and like
Yeah.
just understand that you have this woman that is literally the real life embodiment of Storm from the X-Men.
Yes.
Like and like it's not normal. And like yeah, okay, like maybe she has flaws, but so does everybody. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like she has this mystique about her and like all this and she's
Yep.
doing like well enough and it's like why can't you just enjoy that instead of being
Mhm.
like well actually she didn't do a tope suicida like I don't like that it's like
Yeah.
it's just frustrating and it's like
Yep.
I love that match and like I don't
Mhm.
like Damage Control. I've always enjoyed that stable. I really did. It feels like they're sort of at the end of their sort of usefulness, Damage Control, but
Mhm.
I could be wrong on that. I don't actually know. But yeah, I love that match, and it's just like just to see her go over and look strong, be the one who gets the pin, and then like her, Bianca, and Naomi, like at the end, just like enjoying that WrestleMania moment was I thought it was perfect. I really did.
Oh yeah.
I have no complaints
Right.
about that.
No, it was very good. It was very good. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, not much more to say about it. It's just it did showcase everybody. I say it was to showcase Jade Cargill, but it all three of them I think got over pretty good in that match. So it wasn't like anybody came out of that looking weak on the winning team side.
Right.
Plus the braid smack was wild.
Oh my God, dude. It's like it's not the first time she's done it, but like every time I'm just like, good God, like that sucks.
She's
Yes.
got to be one of my top like five favorite wrestlers right now, Bianca Belair. Like she
Mhm.
has that just like it
Yeah.
about her, and I
Like
really enjoy
when
it.
she did the first time, like I saw her do that to Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, and just the sound, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can't fake that. You're
No,
Yeah.
getting whipped with
it
yeah,
sucks. It sucks.
yeah,
But no, good match. The
yeah.
right
I don't
people
have
got over.
hair. Wouldn't know.
Oh, Dennis's new finisher. Wait, never mind. technically a weapon because it's not your own hair.
Well, hold on a second. So
Disqualification.
yeah, the IW. Well, actually, Bianca brought a foreign object into
Well, actually,
I wanted to say this, by the way. I've been stewing on this all day. I, I'm gonna save it for the end. I'm gonna save it for the end. This is
all right,
you'll appreciate it when I say it,
all right, all
especially
right.
you two.
All right. IC title. Sami Zayn beats Gunther. His reign ends at 666 days.
Is Gunther Satan? Do we know this?
Is he what?
Confirmed.
Satan.
Gunther?
Confirmed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they've
Perhaps.
Oh
prophesized
yeah,
the,
666
they prophesized
days.
the Antichrist. I'm just saying.
That's fair. That is fair.
Confirmed. Listen.
Awesome match. Awesome match.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
best wrestling match
Yes.
of the weekend. I would
Yes.
say.
Yes. They pretty much gave Sami the whole like elimination chamber thing from last year, but winning this time.
Yeah.
And it was very good.
And I also really like that moment with him and Kevin Owens right before the match started.
Yeah.
That was a great
Yeah.
callback.
I was just gonna say that match didn't feel as big until that for some
Right.
reason.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like the not breaking the fourth wall, but it's like the hey, listen, this like we're also friends. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's the I don't know. I love that. I thought that was a good idea.
No, and it was good. And like I said, I liked the like Sami just keep getting up, that whole like underdog thing. They really, leaned into that, which made it even feel, especially when Gunther had the match won, and then Sami just, my God, he's hulking up.
He pulled out the brain buster on the turnbuckle.
Good dude. Oh my God. Like it's like
That's some El Generico shit.
well, I know, and it's like I know the move, but like I still like don't see it coming as it's happening. And then you just see this crash in the corner and you're like, is someone dead?
Yes.
But my God, yeah, no, awesome match. And listen,
I didn't see Sami winning, but
no, neither
hey,
did I.
I didn't either.
Neither
by
did
the
I.
time by the time the match was over, I was just like, all right.
Yeah, they did their
all
job.
right,
Go figure.
Yep, go figure.
How long was that match? I feel like that match went a good while. I could be remembering that
I think it
wrong.
approached the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, for sure. But,
I thought all the false finishes were good too. I thought that was like I can't like it's weird. Like I really wish I kind of went back and watched it again. I just like, and I know I've said this like a million times, but I remember just like adoring that match and like loving that match. And then like
no, it was definitely one of the better
what a fucking brain buster is, but that was awesome to see. Like
it was definitely one of the better wrestling matches on Mania as a whole. Like we wrestling, like we mentioned. But Sammy's a champ. We'll see where Gunther goes from here. I only imagine good things.
Where do you guys think he goes from here?
I think he gets
Cody versus Gunther SummerSlam.
I was gonna say I think he gets drafted. I think Cody's gonna end up on SmackDown. You're not gonna have two champs on Raw, obviously. Wow. But I think Gunther gets drafted too, and they'll eventually cross paths.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because
do you think he's ready for the main event? Do you think so?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I like him. I think it's
for sure. And I
Gunther,
do think
Gunther is one of the best in the world.
Yeah. And I'll say in terms of like star power, I know they have like Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and guys like that on SmackDown. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself here in terms of like the draft. I'm sure later this month we'll have to do a preview of it leading in. If we have, I think we'll have.
A 6-man tag podcast fantasy draft.
Oh no! Oh god! I don't know if I can do it that far. Oh no!
No.
But I do feel like I feel like SmackDown is lacking in the stars because I know they had like The Rock and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline stuff going on during this WrestleMania build. But if you take that away, I think the roster as is does need the help. So like Cody, Gunther, and I think you'll see a few others move over to kind of even things out. But no, listen, great match. Sammy's a champ. Again, I think good things for both going forward. I know they're doing Sami Zayn and Chad Gable on Raw.
That should be good
coming up.
I'm excited for that.
I still am thinking Chad Gable heel turn, but maybe I'm wrong on this one. I
can't imagine where else they would go with that.
But we'll see. And then listen, main event for night one. We're here.
What happened?
Allegedly the longest match in WrestleMania history.
Well, it
felt like it.
Well, but it was awesome. So I checked the time. I was watching this later just because I started the show later. obviously the show was over by the time I started, but I checked my phone when it was starting and it said like 11:15. And then when it ended, I checked my phone again. It was almost 12:30.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good. I'm like, good. I'm like, they really did go this long, but it was great.
Yeah.
I thought The Rock for not wrestling a match in a true
Yeah,
match
that
for not wrestling a true match. I know first match in 8 years, but it was a 10-second
Squash.
squash match at Mania 32. Not wrestling a legit match since the second time he wrestled John Cena, which made 20, was it 28? He did that
I have no idea.
12 years ago.
28, I want to say 29. Was
It's
27 the awful one?
maybe I think so. 27 was at MetLife. Was that Cena Rock 1?
Yes.
Right. So then 28 was 2. Yeah, 12. So then whatever, 11, 12 years for not wrestling a legit match in that time period. The Rock was good.
Yes.
The
Didn't
Rock.
look gassed, held his
No,
own.
no. And because if because I also think he like had a ring shipped to like LA or whatever. He was training with guys. And then
Mhm.
that was the other one. The internet was like, oh, he's taking it serious. It's like, yeah,
He's the Rock.
that's kind of what he does when the time comes to actually do this. But it was great. I thought like you truly didn't like. I had a feeling the Bloodline would win, but the journey to get there, man, was incredible.
How
Yes.
about The Rock yelling at the ref? Don't you fucking count us
Oh,
out,
dude.
I
People
You
love that.
like
count, you're
that's
fired.
that's another one, man. Like people were getting all bent out like, whoa, well, they're advising the wrestlers not to swear, but then the Rock's what? Shut up,
He's the
like
Rock. He's
bro,
earned it.
like the Rock. It's the Rock. Who like yeah, because the Rock's dropping f-bombs, but like they matter. He's not just like he's not saying it for no reason.
So
Like
I think everybody knew that the bloodline was going over.
Yeah.
I think the one thing about that, it was like who was gonna eat the pin.
I figured
And
it was gonna be Cody.
it made it,
yeah, I
but
thought it was gonna be Seth.
no,
See,
what they did made sense though.
yeah, no, for sure. 1,000%. 1,000%. But I was curious to see how they were gonna.
Yeah.
I knew the match was gonna be good. I was just curious to see
Mhm.
how it would end,
Yeah.
like what they would end it with. I think I
Mhm.
knew how they would get there. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of what they would decide to do because I
Yeah.
think that was important. I really
Yeah.
do.
And I did enjoy The Rock like using his power to sort of give them that slight advantage in that match.
Mhm.
And like the referee kind of just acting like with his hands tied and being like, "Oh, well, sorry.
The ref was like,
Sorry, man, I can't do it."
It was the first time
that's
when
not gonna work for me, brother.
this ref has a family actually just means that he doesn't want to get fired and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like, I need health insurance, guys.
Yeah, he's not just like getting put through a fucking table off a
He's just
ramp.
like, guys, yeah, have you seen what inflation is? I have a family. Like I can't lose this kid.
I gotta do this.
in
But
in this economy.
yeah, but I thought, listen, and I said it, I thought this was a great way to, it was an awesome main event. Um,
Yep.
it went long, but like I didn't want it to end. I'm like I could watch this for another hour, honestly. I thought it was that good. Um, and kudos to those guys because like not like mail it in and it still would have been good, but it's like when especially for really no. I mean, I guess the Rockwood didn't have a match on Sunday, but for the other three guys to go all out like they did, and granted it's WrestleMania, they're going to do that, but to like I said, they could have just had a basic tag match, nothing too crazy, and I think it would have been fine.
That's a really good point because I was like not concerned. I was more intrigued. I
Hmm.
don't know why I said that. I think the alcohol's kicking in, but stay in school, kids. They I think I think it was interesting because I was like, I wonder realistically like how hard they're gonna go for this
Hmm.
because you know, 3 out of the 4 of these guys, and 4 of them realistically, 4 of them are going to be involved. 3 of them have actual matches,
Right.
and it's like I wonder what. And I really did enjoy the psychology of the Seth hurt his knee
Hmm.
thing
Yeah.
because then it played over because the minute you saw that you're like, ooh,
Right.
Drew McIntyre,
Right.
but Yeah, I think the thing that was most impressive. I texted a friend of the show saying, "So Seth is just dead after 2 matches." Like,
Yeah.
DED did.
yeah.
Yes.
So he's I can't name this friend of the show, but you guys all know who it is.
Yes.
His name begins with D, ends in
Oh,
Hutch. Hutch. But
oh, Bill.
oh, Bill. But yeah, that's the thing is I was so impressed by the fact that they laid it all out there for that long and
Yeah.
then to turn around less than 24 hours
Right.
later. And then especially Seth to be the first match.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like
And because it's
big
one thing
props.
if you're doing like your like house show loop and stuff, like you're not doing all that on the house shows. Like you're having a match, but you're
You said
not
it's the longest WrestleMania match in history.
right.
Granted, it's a tag match, but it's
Still,
like,
but you're
you know,
still going.
it's
You're still doing shit. Even like, like credits, even like, not I mean, when Roman wrestles, he goes all out. Like I never doubt that. Contrary, opposite of what people would like you to believe. But like Roman goes all out when he does it. So to do that 2 straight nights, fuck yeah, man. Let's go.
Mhm.
But listen, so Bloodline wins. We get Bloodline rules for Sunday. That sets it up. Again, I said it before. I like using the 2 nights in this scenario of,
mm,
making like, have overlapping, have someone work twice. I don't think it's a bad thing to, it keeps the intrigue for 2 nights. It's not, that way it's more than just, well, we're splitting the card over 2 nights to make it more tolerable for people because we realize that people don't want to watch a fucking 8-hour show all at once.
I think it's definitely more digestible. Like it's,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
and I think it makes it even seem
Go,
like
granted, the product is different, but go try to watch WrestleMania 35. You can't. It's too long
Yes.
because that was the last one. That was one night. It was one night at this point. And I'll just throw this out there by saying WrestleMania 35 being that long, Kofi Kingston, although was super over, he didn't get the proper, I think, like
well, it's crowd
celebration.
fatigue. It's crowd fatigue
Oh, it
too.
is. No, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. But even certain things like that, like if WrestleMania 35 was 2 nights, Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston absolutely main event, probably night one.
Right.
But then you can still give the time to that, have a long match. People will remember it more. You could have had a bigger celebration. You don't have to cut it short because we got to get to the next thing. That's the beauty of 2 nights for me.
I think that 5 hour mark is like the sweet spot too. It feels like
No, I would say no. I think the way they do it,
Or
where it's 4 each night, is more than enough. I think
yeah.
any more than that, that's my issue with. Not to bring them up, I'm really not trying to bash it, but that's my problem with the AEW television
oh,
tapings.
sorry. I'm considering to midnight. I guess it's
True.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
But because like when we went, even I'll say like we went to the one of the Arthur Ashe shows, it's like 2 hour, hour of them taping the dark matches, 2 hours of Dynamite, 2 hours of Rampage for that one week, and by the end you're like, all right, I
It's a
just want.
lot, man.
You're like,
It
I
is
just
a
want to. You're
lot.
like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. It's like literally midnight. I'm shot. I'm done.
It is
That's
a
me.
lot.
Like that's me. You know.
May I ask a question of you two gentlemen?
You may.
Yes.
How big is it? No, I'm just kidding.
It's so small.
It's not great.
Average.
Imagine like a Tootsie Pop with a lot of hair. Um,
Yikes.
next time you have a Tootsie Pop, in general,
I love that
when's
you
the
went.
last time? When's
I
that?
love. I love that you
I
went
meant to say
Tootsie
Tootsie
Pop.
Roll. I meant to
No,
say
Tootsie
Tootsie
Pop is
Roll.
funnier.
I know. When's the last time you had a Tootsie Roll? Was it like third grade?
Not in
So
a long time because they're
Oh, so
not.
by
They're
the
not
not.
since
way,
I
They're not. They're
actually
not
cared
good.
about my teeth.
They're not
listen,
good.
as the kayfabe boss of the show,
Oh yes.
as the only wrestling insider on the show, what happened to
Yes.
the Caldor commercials? I missed the Caldor
Oh, I guess
commercials.
I'll have to bring it
We haven't
back.
done that in a while,
That's
but
fair.
What do you mean?
well,
We're about to have one now.
anyway, moving on. Wow, that's a great deal on VHS tapes of The Lion King and A Dragon's Tale. That's not a movie, I don't think. Anyway,
I got
Dragon's
and
Sonic
Dragon.
CD on
what was
sale
what was
there.
the movie? It was with like
All right, you're getting
Littlefoot.
too
Land
fucking
Before
specific.
Time.
I'm not gonna find one with this specific shit
Land
on it.
Before Time. Land Before
Jesus.
Time is what I meant to
Ignore
say. Yeah,
that.
the
Ignore
IWC is going to
that.
be so upset with you. All right, I know we haven't done night
Audio
two
crap.
yet, but I would
We're
like to
getting
kind
there.
of do a little bit of a segue. Um,
Yes.
I'd like to ask both of you, and I'm going to start with Skylar because I'm going to start with Scar because I just said it.
Hmm.
And MVP of WrestleMania weekend. I can
have
talk about Caldor if you need a second to think.
no, I have a one that you wouldn't really expect me to say. Samantha Irving.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She knocked it out of the fucking park both nights. Now, if we're talking wrestlers, it's between Seth and Cody.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Maybe Seth.
Pray tell.
Uh, dude's being held together by duct tape and super glue right now. And he still went out and put on 2 bangers.
It's true.
Bruce.
I mean, if we're going non-wrestler, I'll just go Michael Cole,
Michael Cole's a
continuing his proving to truly be the best wrestling commentator when he doesn't have someone screaming in his ear.
mhm.
I never didn't like Michael Cole.
No, but I think commentary is so different now because it
Yeah.
used to be Vince McMahon just barking orders in everyone's ear. So like
Right.
they couldn't actually just like talk naturally. Whereas I feel like, especially him with Pat McAfee, it's so like the chemistry between them is very good, regardless of how you feel about Pat McAfee's commentary. But I think the those two like each other and they do play off each other very well, and it makes for a good mix. If you want to talk about how a 3 hour Raw is probably the wrong fit for them, and they should be on SmackDown where it's 2 hours, because
Right.
I think Pat gets not bored, but I think when it's like lesser stuff, I just don't think he's into it as much. Where that's where I think like a 3 hour Raw isn't the best fit for him, even though I still like his commentary a lot.
I think for me it's interesting. I like McAfee better when he's one of two as opposed to one of three. Because I
Yeah,
feel like when he's one of two, he's just the color guy. And it's like he fits that role better. But like when he's one of three, I feel like he doesn't know what he's supposed to be. So then he just says random goofy shit,
yeah,
which is like fine. But like after a while, it's like, dude, let it breathe for a second. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's like I
yeah,
did think the commentary was good. I like McAfee the person. I don't like him really that much as the commentator. Um, but for me, I'm trying to think to I think for me, like you guys all, I think personally for me, if I had to be honest with you, I think it's Seth. I think Seth did more than anybody.
yeah.
Especially like essentially not working 3 matches, but being involved in 3 matches,
Yep.
which is tough.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
would say just to be different, I would say Roman because I think Roman, it finally came full circle with him. And granted, he doesn't have the title anymore. One of the greatest champions to ever hold the belt, but I just think about where he used to be and all the things he's been through, even just like with his real life stuff with like leukemia and all that stuff. Uh, it's just impressive to see somebody grow that big and kind of like complete that life cycle to say, okay,
Yeah.
I made it. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
think that moment that you kind of saw with him with Heyman was great. I think it summed it up. It was like I did it, like the type of that moment. So I would say Roman. Realistically Seth, but I would say
Yeah,
Roman.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure we all have more
Good call.
thoughts. Let's start night two. That way, when we get to the main event, we'll have all of our overall thoughts, and we'll just get them all out there. So night two in person, I can say I thought both nights were good. I think night two was better than night one this year.
Easy.
And so that makes me glad that the tickets I chose to buy were night two.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well worth it. I will say, I think it's great being there live. For me personally, I'm I'm less and less like itching to go to these things sometimes just because you do miss a lot of the elements that are strictly made for TV. You do miss and you just miss stuff because you're not getting all the camera angles. You're watching, you can look up at the screen sometimes, if you have, the seats we had were good, but there's obviously times where like you have no choice but to look at the screen.
Side note. Speaking of
Um,
camera work,
yes.
this was the first show where I noticed Kevin Dunn is fucking gone and the camera work is actually good.
Oh, you mean there's not 20 camera cuts every time they go in the corner?
Exactly. I also
Oh,
like how they made use of like some of the like HD camera views, like
I did know I noticed it. I didn't really notice it night one. I noticed it on the screen for night two that they did those 8K cameras for the
yeah,
ring introductions, which looked cool. I remember
yeah,
they had them a while back for when guys were coming down the ramp and they got rid of it. But I'm happy they brought it back because it does look cool. It gives it that little bit of a cool look.
yeah.
And I do like and it's funny, it almost feels like a fuck you to Kevin Dunn, where on Raw they've just been doing those long continuous camera shots,
Mhm.
especially this past Monday, where like I think it was like Rhea Ripley pushed the camera out of the way, and then the cameraman was just right down a hallway into the section, and then down like for like action about to start in the ring. I thought that was super cool. Just like
Yeah,
the continuous like minute and a half shot. I'm like, wow, you mean they're not cutting? Huh? This is nice.
yeah. I actually could pay attention and not get
Right.
epilepsy.
Yeah, oh my God, I know. There were times where like I would be like, I'm like physically sick, like watching all these camera cuts because I'm just dizzy. Um, I will say that as fun as it was, I'm very glad to say that I was at this WrestleMania and I saw like the title change from one of the best champs to now this ushering in this new era. I think, and again, listen, supply and demand, I get it, but the ticket prices are up because the popularity's up. But I think I'm just not itching to go to these sometimes. Like I think I'm just more and more content, like just sitting on my couch watching at home. Like more and more, like I said, I think it does have to do with like the ticket prices and stuff. And like I get it, it's WrestleMania, it's not cheap, but you know, for me, I think missing a lot of those TV elements when you're live, I think you do miss a lot when you're live. Obviously, like the trade-off is when you're home and you hear the crowd, you're like, fuck, that would be awesome to sit in, and it is.
Yeah,
But I don't know, there's just like I'm just like content watching at home, I think. But
that's fair.
I
it's
think when you
still super
go,
fun.
I think when you go, it's more about the atmosphere. It's more
Yes.
about it's like why it's why I've never gone to like one of those outdoor hockey events because it's just like I know I'm not gonna like it's gonna be tough to actually watch what I'm seeing in front of me, but like
Right.
the atmosphere of let's just say I guess I don't know at fucking shitty MetLife Stadium where
Yeah.
the Rangers score and everybody goes bonkers and it's
Right.
like to be a part of that is cool, but it's like
Yeah.
yeah, it might not be the best viewing experience of the
Right.
actual matches, but yeah, no,
Right.
I'm the
That's
same way, man. I really am.
that's how I feel. Again, like I said, I think the trade-off is like it's not as minimal as like going to like a sporting event if you're in just like the arena. Whereas
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm sure I'm missing like the commentary, but like I can see what's going on just fine.
Well, it's like if you went to like a Raw at the Civic Center, let's just say, like you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Like you're pretty close. You're not really missing
Right.
that much, but like when you're in the whatever
Yeah,
deck of the
exactly.
link, it's a
But
little
I'll even
different.
but like you could be front row and there's still stuff that you'd miss. Like from a TV standpoint. Like you're not getting the commentary, which that tells a story on its own.
Wait,
And
front row at Coliseum Wrestling? Is that what you're saying?
oh well, as a matter of fact, we are going to be there. April 26th coming up, Coliseum Pro Wrestling. You better go check them out. We're going to be there. Proud sponsor of the show coming up. The Elks Lodge, West Haven, Connecticut. Yeah, Friday, April 26th. Check it out at Coliseum Pro Wrestling on Instagram, Coliseum Pro Wrestling on Facebook, Coliseum Pro Wrestling on YouTube. That's where you can find those guys. Give them a follow. Go buy some tickets. Go to the show. Uh, yeah, we got to keep plugging those guys before we got. And I believe next week is the show's going to come out on the 12th. What's today? Yeah, this show's going to come out on April 12th. So April 19th next week.
My birthday.
I believe. Get
Yeah.
the fuck out.
Yeah.
No,
I
seriously, get the fuck out.
yeah.
Okay.
Either April 19th or on April 26th, we'll have House of Pain back on to talk about Starcade 1990 with them. We're just gonna set up a day to record that, and we'll get it out to you guys. Because listen, having those guys on is awesome. So we'll have them back, give them a good chance to promote, and like I said, we're gonna be there. We'll be
Yeah,
at the
that'll
show in
actually be
Connecticut.
that'll be my first my first wrestling show
Oh,
ever.
oh, it's gonna be the best.
So if you're
Listen,
there,
I'm hopeful that we'll have some kind of involvement in doing something on this show. Anything
hopefully.
that hey, anything they let any of us do will be a nice bonus. But if nothing else, we will be there to check out Coliseum Pro Wrestling. Very excited for that.
Support your local wrestling because
Yes.
a lot of those guys who are in WrestleMania started at places
Oh, yeah.
like at indies and things like that. So
For sure.
it's also just there's a
For sure.
charm and mystique about it. I
Yeah,
say
for
it.
sure. Oh, for sure. But I'm excited. So yeah, that's that show a little over just it's in 2 weeks. So again, Friday night, April 26th, Opportunity for Success 3, Coliseum Pro Wrestling. It's gonna be a good time. Check it out.
I'm just excited to meet Payne
Yeah.
and Nick. That'll be actually pretty
Yeah.
cool. Those
Yeah.
guys are the best, man.
It doesn't seem like they're wrestling on this show. I was hopeful they were, but
Oh, they're not?
no, because I know that they just know they'll be there because like it's their thing. But I don't
That
believe they'll wrestle on
sucks.
it. No, I know. But like,
Ah,
if it's their thing and they want to get like all the other guys over and on the card, I get it. I think they're just there to run the show.
right. I got you.
But they got appearances. We'll have to check them out again when they're local because they trust me they get around. Listen, I follow those guys on all the socials, so they got plenty of appearances coming up. But yeah, April 26th, gonna be a good time. Elks Lodge, West Haven, Connecticut. Uh, listen, it's Connecticut. You better leave early to get there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if it takes 2 hours, just assume double.
Yeah, yeah.
You will hit traffic and it's guaranteed.
If you're
So,
driving, if you're gonna go from Long Island, just stay home.
did I tell you one time I drove to pick my sister up from Garden City to Long Island,
Ugh,
from New Haven
ugh,
to Garden City,
Hey.
Long Island? Awful. Do
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah.
no,
Do not recommend.
no, don't do it. All right, listen, Mania night 2. Yeah, we open. I figured this would open.
We open with a kick to the face.
I thought this.
Oh
match was
boy,
gonna-
did the match open.
I thought this match was going to be over in 10 seconds. I was ready for it. I got with the 2 count.
Mhm.
But anyway, but listen, Drew and Seth have a good match.
Is it me or did it feel like a better version of a Brock Goldberg's finish spamming?
I can agree with that.
Like much better because
Yeah.
because there was a lot of finishers
There
done
was
in this match.
a lot of claymores, a lot of stomps.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But it was still highly enjoyable.
yes.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. Listen, Drew wins, which listen, I think we all thought this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's very
By
funny
the way,
'cause
him
then-
tweeting during his match.
Oh yeah,
That was great.
That was
I
great.
didn't realize what he was doing until
Yeah.
after the fact. I was like, is he taking a selfie? Like, what's happening?
Right.
But,
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
And then of course after the match he gets to celebrate in the ring, and it's very funny how this backfired. This goes back to the storytelling. Night 2 really shows how good the storytelling has been. And this is one of them, how Drew's main point to Seth is you're distracted by Roman, you're distracted by the bloodline, and what do
Mhm.
you know? It just happens to be Drew getting sidetracked by CM Punk this whole time that ends up
Yep.
costing him, because although CM Punk is doing commentary, that arm is doing okay. Little sweep
Mhm.
of the leg action is, and listen, all Drew had to do was walk up that ramp and leave, and he'd still be champion right now.
Yep.
Yeah, the call
Yep.
to that video. That video is
Yeah.
great.
Video
What
was
did I tell
fantastic.
you? That
All-
was
Video
so
was
good.
great.
All he had to do was just walk up that ramp and
I'll
go
tell you
to
what,
the back.
I didn't see the cash in coming in.
It's
Didn't
very
see it
funny
coming.
because I've been watching this long enough that like as soon as like you saw him getting in Punk's face, you kind of were like, well, maybe.
I didn't see it coming.
And then when Punk, I'm hitting the fucking mic here. Yeah.
Remember Texas. Yeah. Second time today. That reference.
But then he sweeps leg, gets beat up. It's like, so in the crowd, like you kind of were like, cash it, and then the music hits, big pop.
Yep.
Damian Priest runs down. Kuda, I read something how shout out to the ref for not taking 5 business days to ring the bell on a
Mhm.
cash in.
He knew the assignment.
Right. Right. Whereas the refs usually the ref spends 20 minutes asking him if he really wants to
Are
cash
you
in.
sure you're doing this? Huh? You're doing this? Yep, you're doing this.
The
You're
only
sure you're doing
complaint I
this? You're
have
doing
about
this?
this match is I don't know if you guys caught it. Bruce probably didn't, but when he did the like weird, sexy crawl on the table to like
I
Punk,
saw
it was
that.
like, what is happening here?
Mhm.
Like,
I think he want to make out with you.
yeah, that was weird, but
Yeah. But
no, I'll tell you what, I love the match. Like you said, I do agree with it was a Brock Goldberg thing, but it was
Yeah.
like once
Well
you
done.
I think the false finish at the beginning like was believable because it's like, oh, Seth wrestled yesterday, maybe they
Right.
won't
Mhm.
do much with him
Right.
except for parade him out with a bunch of fucking Willy Wonka characters or whatever the fuck that was, but that
I mean,
was
it fit the silliness
right.
of the
I mean, it
gimmick.
is what it is. It's just weird. Like just because it's weird doesn't mean it's bad, but
It
it's
was
just
more
like
we because like obviously when you're there, you can like see them setting up for like all the shit. So
right.
like after Drew comes down and they like rush out the band, and then we just see all these people appear on stage. We're like, what?
Right.
And then we're like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, they'll probably just stay on the ramp. And then they walk down and walk around the ring. We're just like, oh, okay. We're like, oh, Dale, okay, they didn't. They're
Yeah, it
not.
was a little
They're
weird,
still
but I
going.
I loved it. The cash in didn't see it coming. I
No, that
really
was fun.
didn't.
That was cool to see it happen.
That's just the fact that it finally happened.
Yes.
Senor Money in the Bank. By the way, he was at the Yankees game and
Yeah.
he was in the booth with Michael and
Yeah.
with O'Neill. And it was funny listening to Kay pretend to know shit about wrestling,
Yeah.
talking to him like, so I heard the Undertaker's dead. It was like,
Yeah. Right. Like, oh, right.
okay,
Which is
okay.
funny
Not
because
quite.
everyone calls Damian Priest bisexual Undertaker.
Yeah. Oh, how about how about Drew calling him Bondage Undertaker
Yeah.
at the
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah. That was good. I liked it because again, I said at the top that this feels like a reset in a way
Mhm.
going
Yeah.
forward.
Mhm.
So I think this works out perfectly to have Priest be, you can have Cody as like, your main event guy, but now Priest can sort of, because this has always been the thing with two titles is you can have, your top guy, which is Cody,
Mhm.
spoiler,
The
and
Hurricane.
then right, but then like you can take this other world title and sort of like experiment, for lack of a better word, and like
Like bisexual Undertaker would.
right, exactly, and it's like okay, so like Priest had the
Speaking of
Money in the Bank,
experimenting,
but it's like okay, Priest had the Money in the Bank, now he's champion, so now you can take the next couple months and see like is Priest going to get over? Is Priest
But I also don't think that Punk and McIntyre feud needed the title. I don't think
no.
it did.
No, I, I
no.
I agree that it doesn't. So again, that's where it gives you two main event matches right there. Again, I don't know if Punk can wrestle yet. I know he did the couple things at Mania, but like I don't know how healthy he is, if he could wrestle tomorrow if he needs to. So I'm not sure, where they'll go with that, but I agree
Right.
they didn't need it. So I like Priest as champion. It's, it'll be something different if nothing else.
I'm
And
excited for it, man. I like
Yeah.
him. I
And listen,
really
and
do.
I love Seth. Like I'll never like knock him being in like a title match or being a champion or whatever, but this was the perfect time to do the switch, especially if
yes,
Seth is going to take time off. I have no idea if he is or not. I imagine he
I
is.
think his kind of gimmick was a little stale. Not
No, he can. I think that, and there's a lot we'll discuss at when we reach the end when we wrap it up. But there's a lot of ways they can go with
distance
this.
makes the heart grow fonder. So I think maybe a
Exactly.
little time away would
yes.
be.
Up second, Philadelphia Street Fight. It was what I thought it was going to be. Again, it's a car crash match for the night two. I liked. Now, obviously, I didn't get to hear Snoop Dogg's commentary. I need to go back and watch it.
So
One of
good.
the best
So
things
good.
about the entire
No fucking
weekend was his
kidding, man. No
So
commentary.
kidding,
good.
man. All right.
So so
I'll
good.
honestly, I'll probably rewatch it after we're done recording this.
Honestly, that's the only thing I really remember from the match. That
Okay.
and what
And we
the
did say, I think we said it while we were sitting there because like I didn't even because like I like went to the bathroom after that first match, so I didn't even realize Bubba Ray came out to be like the referee.
Oh, you
because
just thought it was Alex
he looks like
Jones.
a referee.
Oh, you're like, what's Alex
What's
Jones doing
Alex
in the
Jones doing
ring?
in here?
I saw, was it the meme? It's
I was
like, I
at
guess,
Bohemian Grove again.
yeah.
So I'd tell you about it.
Bro, your Alex Jones voice is so good. We're gonna keep this fair.
That's all it is. You just talk kind of fast and
Oh
just
my
say a bunch
God.
of bullshit.
This match, I
Um,
think we knew what this match was going to be, but
yeah.
I have to say,
The one spot, Montez Ford just yeeting himself over the
bro,
fucking post to
Yeah.
the
dude,
to the
he's so
to the
good.
Montez
floor.
Ford is a stud.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that guy's single run whenever it comes. I'm like a huge
I'll say it
fan of
again. We
that.
thought it was coming last year when he was in that US title chamber match a year ago,
Yeah.
and we're still
Yeah.
waiting on it.
Although I
Nope.
will say when Bubba Ray put the glasses on, it was
Yeah.
like,
It was very funny because I think that like we said to ourselves in the crowd, we're just like, why does Bubba Ray do this? Where like Devon's not there, so just any black guy can just become the Devon.
wow. Wow. Yeah, like we
Uh,
said, is Bubba Ray Dudley racist because he always makes Devon get the tables? He never does it himself.
I will say, I think supposedly they were like, because like when they tried to do the one table and then it just broke before anything
Dude,
happened. I think
so funny.
like Bubba kind of helped him to be like, just get another one.
Dude, that was so funny too, because then Montez Ford got the kendo stick, and when you watch it back, put everything he had into those kendo stick hits. Like,
yeah, he did.
watch it. It's like
Okay, yeah,
comedic. Like
yeah,
his body just
yeah,
it's
yeah.
hilarious, bro. Yeah, I mean, it
Pretty
was
much.
by the way, Carry Cross done. Done. Just
They're
done.
he's back in NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's oh brother, this guy stinks.
Oh, brother, this guy. Yeah, anyway, but I liked the match. It was good. I enjoyed
If
it. Like you
listen,
It's
said,
it is
fine.
for what
trash
it was,
match.
but it's like that's the thing. It was the let up match, whatever let up match after the seriousness of the world title.
Can I say that
No.
was it B-Fab doing that Russian leg sweep to
Scarlet,
Scarlet
Through the
off
table.
through the
Yeah,
table
solid.
off? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a cool spot.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then they laid there for about 20 minutes waiting for the
Yeah.
match to end. Yeah, that was funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
AJ Styles LA Knight. I liked this match a lot.
Much better than I
Yeah.
anticipated.
Yeah.
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 It was very funny because I think you had me and Joey because Anthony doesn't like LA Knight either.
Shocking.
He's like I just don't get it. So then it was just like
What's there to get? It's just some idiot that says, yeah, don't overthink it. Like, it's all it
exactly,
is.
Well,
exactly. But he
he
is a
can't
good.
do dummy, so
He's been throwing out. He's throwing dummy in there a couple times.
a
Yeah.
couple times.
No offense, fuck TNA, bro. Just do whatever the fuck you want. What are you gonna sue? Okay, pal.
All right, pal.
How much money do you guys have today?
I honestly was very impressed by LA Knight because
Yeah,
I do think some of the criticisms are fair. Maybe not
right.
the world's best wrestler, but also him giving away the Slim Jim car to that woman, and then that guy just deep throating the Slim Jim on camera.
Now you see, this is the kind of stuff you miss when you're in the crowd. You miss people
That's the
sucking
reason.
off.
That's
You
the
miss
whole
people
reason to stay
sucking off
home.
the Slim Jims.
Yeah, I'm not a huge AJ Styles fan. I never have been. I never probably will be, but
Mhm.
I
See,
definitely
I was.
I definitely respect the guy.
Well,
It's just not
I
my
was
favorite.
from, but it's like I was from like 20 years ago, and it's like I think that's where a lot of people are like, because like when I was first watching TNA, and I was like, who the fuck's this guy? He's like his guy, like this guy's incredible.
Oh yeah.
That's what AJ Styles was.
When he
Obviously,
was wrestling with Perk Angle.
yes, actually,
Yes.
yeah. But it's
Oh
like
yeah, I know my wrestling history, sort of.
yeah, but it's like now, now that he's like in his like late 40s, he obviously can't do the shit he did 20 years ago. But
And he's a flat earther, so
mm,
Mm,
also true. Huh.
yes.
I
I
mean,
did.
he should have been in the street fight when Alex Jones was out there. They could have had something to talk about.
Oh, imagine. Oh God, Alex Jones and, and AJ Styles in a tag team.
Oh wow.
Loser leaves the globe or flat Earth.
The loser has to walk off the side of the earth. Fuck, man. But no, it was a good match. I thought it was a good call, LA Knight winning that. Like I said, where they go, yeah, we'll find out.
Yep.
But solid match. I was, good match, solid.
I need Skyler's opinion on LA Knight, and maybe even just specifically that match, like what he thought.
I thought it was way better than I expected it to be. I thought it would be a good match, but it exceeded my expectations. Not a classic or anything, but just still a strong match. LA Knight, he's a throwback to Rock, Austin, those guys from that era, more or less.
I agree with that.
Which some people find as a detriment. I personally think he makes his own and he makes it work.
Does. Yeah, he does
His
for sure.
His in-ring work might not be the best, but he's shown that he can have solid matches. His match with Roman was really good.
Yep.
This match was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a
you
fan.
can get a 4-letter word over like what to that like extent. I think
Yep.
you're doing something
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a good match. Glad he won.
Now we have and yeet.
Yeah.
No yeet.
Or no yeet.
Yeet's so over. It's so fucking funny, man.
It is.
I'm not the biggest fan of the Usos, but I love Jay's like entrance.
That was my biggest takeaway from being at the Royal Rumble live was like I figured Yeet was over, but like it was like I had no idea how over it was until I was like at that show and hearing that like the crowd go nuts for that the whole time he's in there.
Yeah.
This next match may have been my favorite of the week.
This was great. So Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, just from the jump of Kevin Owens on the golf cart and then backing it and then
I was wondering what he was doing with that.
Randy, come on, get on.
Because they had the whole thing on SmackDown where they drove from the arena to the stadium that Logan was in to try and get him.
Right.
But so he just drove out on the golf cart for that. And then, they're reversing back up to be like, all right, get in. Let's go, fuck up this YouTuber.
If you watch it back, you can see Randy Orton telling Kevin Owens to slow down. It's really funny. You see him going like this. I also love the shirt that Kevin Owens was wearing that was like
he always has a great
he always has
cool.
The KO Mania, whatever.
No, the one that was like it was the three of them and it was like that's me KO and then it has an arrow with Randy Orton and he's like he's cool and then with Logan Paul is like this guy sucks. Like I don't know if it's like for sale or it's like a limited time thing, but I thought it was pretty cool. And then you got Sammy on the intro too, which was really cool too.
Oh yeah.
That was
that's
cool
where
I
thought KO was gonna take it after that.
Yep.
But oh well, it wasn't meant to be. But listen, a fucking awesome match, dude. Like this is where like the people that certain people that just don't like Logan Paul, it's like, look, if you think he's a shitty like whatever, but like I don't sometimes I don't care when I'm watching wrestling to an extent. Just like the guy's fucking good.
I have to say, he's a shitty human being. He's completely scammed his fans out of a lot of the money. Well, look up Crypto Zoo. That's all you need to know about what type of person he is.
And I get it. And I have my own opinion of that. Of like, probably
I used to like Logan Paul back in the Vine days,
right?
Like, and I still sort of like him. Like for me, personally, like I think he's a bad guy, whatever. But art from artists, etc., etc.
Exactly.
That fucking frog splash
he got. Oh God.
That is I with no hyperbole, no disrespect to the late great Eddie Guerrero or the really late baked Rob Van Dam. That's the best frog splash I've ever seen.
That was one when you're live where like if when you're watching on TV, you notice instantly how high up he got.
Yeah.
Even being in the crowd and he jumps and we were like, he got fucking like that was some height on that. That just wasn't like one of the like little like we're like instead of going like this, that fucker went up. Yeah. But solid match. I did think he was gonna lose. I wasn't sure. But at the same time, I thought they did a very good job of having Randy and Kevin go at it when they needed to, but no one ever actually turning on the other.
I know. I liked it when like one accidentally hit the other, and Kevin just looks at him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. He looks at it. It's just like, are we doing this? Okay.
Yeah. And then your punch.
Yeah. When Randy tried to hit him with the RKO, and KO was like, "What the fuck?" He's like,
"Yeah,
sorry."
Yeah. There's a feud there between those two, and it'll be good when it eventually does happen. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I do think that Randy Orton is like one of the few people that is as good of a heel as he is a face.
God,
I think a lot.
this run though is proving it because I never used to really like him as a babyface so much. It's
I
only
think
been
he's so funny though. Like I think his
yes,
facial
Yes.
expressions are like some of the best in
hmm
the company, and he's like when he tried to RKO KO. If you watch it back, he's like,
yeah,
sorry.
exactly,
And then like at the
exactly.
beginning when they're like, hey, we're gonna go beat up this guy, right? Like it's
Yep,
just like, yeah.
right.
Honestly, I think to get back to what you were saying, and I like again, I always refer to Skylar here because he's always my wrestling schwami, so to speak. But I think a lot of people, and I want to know if you agree with this, both of you. I think a lot of people hate Logan Paul because he's first. I mean, he is like naturally a heel. Like I get that. Like there's a lot
Mm.
of unlikable stuff, but like I think most people it comes from a hatred that he is better than like 90% of that roster, and he didn't even really have to try.
Yeah.
Like
I
he just walked in there and he was just good, and I think
mhm.
people hate that.
He took to it like fish to water.
Right.
But like from my standpoint, it's like no, but like what's to hate about for take strip the character away. You take the best fucking human being possible, just to, keep all the personal shit out of it. But like that's just how things go sometimes. Like just because you've been,
Yeah, but
running
that doesn't mean
just
people don't hate that.
no, I get it, but it's like just because you've been running up and down the roads for 20 years doesn't mean you deserve anything. Like, no offense to like wrestlers that Logan might have leapfrogged, but it's like there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Because it's like one, and if Bad Bunny did a similar schedule as him, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah.
Because
I
Bad Bunny is a better wrestler than a lot of people on that roster
Yep.
and will sell a lot more tickets than a lot of people on that roster.
Yep.
I genuinely loved this match. I thought this match was
Yes.
fantastic.
Yep.
Yep.
I liked everybody in it.
Yep.
I think the only thing I didn't like is I fucking despise I Show Speed. I can't stand that little motherfucker. But I get it. I get why they did it.
Yeah.
Again, perfect heel. Like, it's like
Right.
KSI, they did the same thing, whatever. Uh Randy kicking him is
Yeah.
is like one of the funniest things
It
I've
was
ever
funny because
seen.
we were like, oh, he's gonna, he's gonna get slammed in the fucking prime bottle. Then when Randy ripped it off of him, I was like, all right.
It was great,
I
man.
was like, all right, he's making him do it, the hard way. Ouch, the
Yep.
ouchy way.
Yep.
I
No,
do
just
I
so.
do think the right decision was to keep Logan with
Oh
with
yeah,
the
no, for sure.
title.
Because like Randy and like it would have been cool, but like neither of them need the U.S. title particularly.
I
There's
still
also the
put
whole like psychology too of like I think the one thing that wrestling like pisses me off about most wrestling fans is that like you can't always have what you want
Right.
because if you did look, all right, for instance, I think this is just basic psychology, but like would this Cody title win, spoiler alert,
Hmm.
have meant as much if he hadn't gone through the trials and tribulations that he did to get there?
Not particularly.
Probably
It
not.
it reminds me of that one. It's sort of like that one Twilight Zone episode where that
I thought you were
one.
going to say Twilight. I was like, what?
Oh no, no.
Well,
There's one.
I was team Jacob, obviously.
Oh, fuck all that. There's one Twilight Zone episode where like a dude dies and he thinks he's in heaven and he's like a gambler. He just wins every time. He like never loses. Everything goes his way. And then by the end of the episode, he's just miserable about it.
Right. Because
And
you
it's
need the
like
lows because without the lows,
exactly.
it's
And
like anything with
right,
like it's basic sports psychology. Like,
right.
you know, like again, you guys all love sports, you guys like the Giants. There's been a lot more lows than highs recently. I don't know if you've noticed, but
Huh,
yes a little.
you live through this and then God only knows if it ever happens.
right,
That Super Bowl or whatever will be
right,
that much better. Like, you know what I
right.
mean? And like I think it's character
Right,
building. It
exactly.
really
And right,
is.
and exactly. And it's like, and if everything you wanted in wrestling happened, you would end up just being like, all right, well, I guess I'm done with that because now like I get what like that's the thing. It's like you have things you want to happen, and then when it doesn't, it gives you a reason to be like, well, what, I don't know. It's yeah, same kind of deal.
Well, even look at it this way, like you know how like the whole reign of terror thing with Triple H.
Mhm.
Would
Not that
Batista's
terrible.
title win have been as important if Triple H
Yeah,
hadn't
maybe
been?
not. No, I agree. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I think it was actually on Logan Paul's podcast. I think Impulsive, I think it's
Yeah, yeah,
called.
yeah.
Triple H said something that was actually very interesting about his psychology when booking things is I like when they were asking him about using blood and curse words, he's like, I don't like constantly like a million like gunshots and whatever. I like the story that builds up, builds up, builds up to the one gunshot. So when it happens, it's meaningful. And
Right.
I think that that makes sense. I really do. And I was like kind of taken aback by that. I was like, you know what? I agree with that. I really do.
No, and you're absolutely right. But like I said, for this made sense. Maybe you don't want Logan Paul to be the champ, but it makes sense right now. But oh man, listen, like so far every match on this card is good. Even like the street fight where you thought it was going to be garbage, was it still entertaining?
Yeah.
So it says a fucking lot about this WrestleMania, man. But
Yeah, I agree.
and then we obviously move on. So Bailey, Io Sky. Look, I
I
think
thought this match rocked.
so did I. I thought it was very good.
Yes,
Um, I
much
think
better than I anticipated.
right, and I think part of it, I think the live crowd knew, okay, this main event's going to be like an hour. It wasn't like a bathroom break match by any means,
No,
but it was one of those where it was like I was like, all right, I was like, this match is starting. Let me go to the bathroom now. Let me get it out of the
right.
way. So, because I'm like, oh, I'm not getting up during the main event, and we knew this is the last match before it. But I'm like, all right, let me get up, let me do my thing, and then I'll watch like the bulk of this match once I get back to my seat. I'll miss the beginning, you know, just to do it.
Right.
But yeah, Bailey Io Sky was fantastic. I
I
mean, it was,
honestly, it was one of my top 3 matches of the weekend.
yeah, I thought it
Bailey
was,
Bailey continues to be the GOAT, man. She's the best.
mhm.
And people forget Io Sky is actually really good
Oh yeah, yeah,
That reversal she had on is it the
on
Rose?
the rose plant.
yeah,
Oh, so good.
yep,
Yeah, just flipping out
Yeah.
of it like
hmm
nothing.
yep. And listen, the
It was
end,
almost so subtle that you didn't even
Mhm.
realize it on camera. You're like, did she reverse it or did she
Right.
just stand up? But
right. But listen, great match. I think that was the result everybody expected. Bailey winning the title after all that stuff with Damage Control.
Yep.
I'm curious. Like I said, I'm curious to what if they're done with this story, if there's more to come, you know, with it. But listen, Bailey gets a title win at WrestleMania, which I
I'm
didn't even
surprised
realize.
there. I'm
I didn't
surprised there was no
realize.
interference. I was kind of
Right,
surprised by that.
right.
Yeah,
But and I was surprised to see Bailey's first singles match at WrestleMania. I didn't realize that was the case.
I guess so.
I feel like maybe she's always been in some either
Tag
maybe
matches or
yeah, something like that. But or like maybe like triple threats or something. But hey, she did it, won the title. I kind of wish she wanted Paramore to perform for her to enter,
Mhm.
which that would have been cool, but I guess they couldn't work it out.
Yeah,
But
just playing misery business.
sure, whatever. That would have been fine. But hey, she won the title and that was awesome. But I think it was like I was saying because you got up, I was saying how this wasn't a bathroom break match, but it was a live crowd realizing this main event. It was
But for me, it was because
no,
I just pissed.
but it was a lot of the live crowd
No,
being like,
no.
I know this main event's going to be an hour. I'm not getting up during it, and I
I
gotta
think
go
during
now.
any other circumstance, that without like the bloodline thing, like if you just have you just have Roman Cody, I think that this match main events night one.
I think so.
yeah,
I sort of expected it to, but then I did that was before the tag match and all that
Yeah,
shit sort of
yeah,
happened. But no,
right.
I
I
really
agree.
the intro, it was weird. You know, it was weird. I saw this online. I kind of agree with it. Bailey got this really elaborate intro
Yeah.
with like, with like the Roman
Yep.
pharaoh as she's like a goddess basically. And then they're like, and Io Sky. It's
Yep.
like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of did nothing for her. It was a little
They
weird to
didn't.
me.
They didn't
No.
do anything for her except for
Yeah.
just a regular intro. But
Yeah. But
I feel like that match was better than it will be remembered for
yeah.
because of where it was on the card.
Agreed.
right.
Agreed. But yeah, but when you had the two world titles, you were like, well, it wasn't going to open, and the world heavyweight title wasn't going to be
Mhm.
second to last either.
Right.
I was shocked that Seth and Drew was first. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I kind of
I
figured
kind of saw
they
that
would
coming.
open with that. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't. But again, I'm an idiot.
Honestly, I thought it'd be more of a thing where like Rock would force that match to open,
Something like that. Yeah.
but they didn't go that route.
Yeah. Which is
All right.
fine because I don't think they didn't want The Rock being. I knew they were playing with the real life stuff that he's a board member,
Mhm.
but I don't think they wanted. They didn't. It would have been bad if they turned him into like this like pseudo on screen authority figure.
Well, I
No,
mean,
I
he
think they played
kind
that
of
perfect.
No, I
is.
think that they played
Yeah,
it good
but they
enough.
played it perfectly, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, but like I
Honestly.
think any like if he was just showing up on Raw being like, well, because I'm on the board, you're doing that, it would have been like, all right, fuck this shit.
Mhm. Fair
But
enough.
anyway,
My
so
favorite
Speaking
was
of,
one of my before we go to the end game. I've like how
yeah,
they were like asking Paul Heyman like, "What is bloodline rules?" And he's just like,
whatever.
"Bleh." It's
Yeah,
like
it's
it is
whatever.
what it is. It's like
Yeah, pretty
okay,
much the
thanks.
best answer you could give for that. But listen, we fucking got here. WrestleMania 40 main event of Sunday. Roman
So,
Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and fuck me, it was good. It was the whole shit was an hour, which I
mhm.
figured.
is this the best like main event all time?
So I was thinking about this, and
Most
it's a strong case. It's in it's it's got to be in the top three. I think Rock Austin
X7.
at 15.
Mm,
17 gets tarnished because of the weird
the
heel turn
finish.
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't think it's 17. I really don't. I
I
don't
feel,
agree
but
with
like,
that. I
but
think it's the best, and that's not even recency bias.
you
I just
could
think
you could say 20 is very good.
19, you mean? Oh, wait, no, 20 was the triple threat.
Yeah.
19,
what was
19 with
20? Refresh me here. I
Benoit
don't know if I've
winning.
ever
eight,
watched
eight,
20.
Benoit Triple H
HBK.
HBK.
I was gonna say redacted, but
Okay.
okay.
Wow. Wow.
But
Yeah, I never saw it, King.
okay. It is,
That
I
was
mean
it was actually a phenomenal match.
right, exactly.
Believe you.
But I mean it's
I say it's one. It's if
it's
not
funny. It's funny
the
because I would almost put like WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 6 up there
yeah.
in terms of its importance.
Yeah.
Um
I was gonna say it's definitely one of the most important main events ever.
it's I would say top 3, but also you can look at the last 20 years and say because I think the build for last year and this year was better than anything Rock and Cena did. Not to like
Mhm.
fault them or anything like that, but it was just better.
Yes.
And I feel like that, and it's like again, we can look at Cena and say like, yeah, Cena was awesome. We probably should have appreciated it more as it was happening. But as it was happening, you were like, all right, well, it's Cena and who again in the main event? Cena's gonna win, like same stuff like that. So like you can look at like the last 20 years and be like, well, in that era, this is easily the most important main event. And you could probably tack on 10 years prior to that, going back to like Mania 10 and then even a few before that. So like I would say this is a top three WrestleMania main event of all time.
I think it's funny though how people like in with psychology they view
Yeah.
like these long runs and these powerful runs where it's almost viewed that like the heels have like these better long lasting runs, but then like the
Hmm.
baby faces, it's like the shtick gets a little old,
It
kind of.
does. No, because it does, because it's true.
It's interesting to me. I'm like kind of
I
seeing that.
I think Cody will kill that trend, but I also think Cody could be a pretty good fucking heel if he has to be.
Yeah.
If the time ever came, he could certainly do it. I wonder if they treat him like a John Cena at times. I don't know if it'll ever get to that, but
Well, there's that whole thing with like the
with
AEW where they booed him because they were tired of it, and it's like, dude, like just let him be him now. Like
right,
he's here. Like yes, it's
yeah, the stuff he did in AEW down the stretch definitely wasn't that good.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Um,
not much that AEW has done down the stretch has been very good.
no, but the when Cody was still there, the product itself was still very good. Like
Fair.
it was like the Cody stuff that was like, this is kind of lacking, but for whatever reason. But I'm curious, but it's beside the point because I'm getting ahead of myself. The match itself, um, just and again,
Unbelievable.
I did rewatch. There was one specific thing that I caught when I was rewatching that like proves my to my own point of like I like watching this stuff on TV. When Roman did the crossroads and Cody kicked out,
Yeah.
and Roman, just the little nuances that he does where he just
Yep.
like with the camera right there is like, he's just doing this. He's like, this move's weak. It can't beat anybody.
It's like, that move sucked anyway.
Exactly. It's like shit like that when you miss when you're in the crowd, and then when you
Yeah.
watch back, you see it, you're like, fuck, it's so good. Because I've said it many times. He took the stuff during the pandemic with no crowd and made all that little nuanced stuff of like, oh, the camera's here. I'm not going to look at it, but I'm going to say a bunch of stuff that's meant for you to hear at home.
Mhm.
And it's like he's been one of the best at doing that in the last 5 years at this point.
Yeah, it's like I
But
said before, the way how far he's come is just
exactly
so
from
impressive.
19 to now, yeah, it's unbelievable. But um, but just and then I guess listen, like the match obviously plays itself out, and like the story of and I love the story setup of the whole last year. He's about to hit that third crossroads. Solo interferes, end of the match. I love that was also
Oh,
like
I
the
didn't even know
story.
that. I
Yep.
genuinely didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
because
That's interesting.
he was doing the three straight crossroads. He hits two, and then the third one is when Solo crossroads, and then Solo comes out and hits him gives him the thumb, and
I
then
tried to
Roman
no sell
wins.
that. I couldn't.
So did
Woof
I.
woof.
So did I. Couldn't
Out
do
now,
it.
brown cow.
Damn it.
Unique
Goddamn.
New York.
Yeah, no.
That was good. All right, I'm listening.
Um,
Sorry. That was
but
so funny.
so I like that as he's trying to hit the
What are
third
you,
one.
colorblind too, pussy?
Yes, actually. Fuck.
It's so funny. It's funny. Like I explain to people all the time, I'm like, man, I love my friends, but I fucking hate them too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
You're all terrible.
yeah, no, for
Um,
sure.
but then I
I
like
didn't
that.
know about that three thing. That
Yeah.
makes it even
But
more
so
interesting.
I like that that's where all the interference kind of started this time around too, where it was like, okay, Jimmy comes out. I did think so the first one when Jay came out to counter, I think I like said right away, I was like, oh, I gotta go help my boy, but I need a full entrance first. Because like the music hit and he didn't just run straight out. He did like that slow dance shit he does at the top of the ramp. Then he took off. It was almost like
I
when
thought that spot they both did was better than anything they did in
oh,
their
the
match
spear
on
off the
day
stage,
one.
The
the
spear
Yeah,
off
spear
the
off the
stage.
stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, and like
Oh,
that was good. And then just the chain reaction of like, holy fucking shit. So then it's like, of course, naturally Solo comes out. And then we kind of figured Cena was up next just because Cena, the last time you saw Cena, Solo just killed him.
Decimated him.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, he's coming for revenge for that. Then we figured The Rock. So when the Shield music plays,
dude,
so
dude.
there was about 2 seconds
You thought
where
Dean Ambrose.
yes, where everybody was like, well, it's probably not, but could it be? And
Oh my
like,
God.
granted, and it's like I feel like the camera sort of missed Seth getting it, but like
Yeah,
we
I
didn't.
was gonna point that out.
But like even in the crowd, we didn't notice like where Seth even came from, and then oh, he's just in the ring now. Like we didn't even see him come through. And just by the way, just that alone of that storytelling of
Mhm.
you want to talk about Seth being distracted by the bloodline and then McIntyre being distracted by CM Punk.
I know where you're going.
Roman cost himself everything because he didn't forget about 10 years prior with the Shield.
Yep.
And that's what
Yep.
that was. He could have hit Cody with that chair while Cody was still down. Instead, he turns his attention to Seth. He gets his revenge on that.
Well, then
That comes full
even
circle.
the imagery though of him hitting
Same thing.
Seth with the chair
Same
was
thing.
exactly how, and it's like in the moment you're so wrapped up in what's happening, but then you
Yep.
like
Yep.
subconsciously you're like,
Yep.
whoa. But then like
Yeah.
when you take a step
Yeah.
back, you're like,
Yeah.
that was
And then let's not forget Seth saying to Cody, like, well, I'll be your shield
right.
Mhm.
in a it's just like this is
I'll be
where
your shield.
right. And it's right, but it's like
Yeah,
it's these like Easter egg things
right. It's foreshadowing.
that
It's classic.
right.
It's classic storytelling.
But
Yeah,
it's like it's just like shit like that is what we haven't been really getting.
right.
And it's like d- did it need that specific thing to play out for this match to be great? Not necessarily.
No, but it
But
made
to
sense.
exactly, it makes sense. You can see like these literal, like we keep saying Avengers and Endgame. That's what this was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then so then like obviously like and then first of all, then Rock comes out after Cena, because I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Rock comes out after Cena, and then you knew the stare down was coming, and you're
3
like,
times in a lifetime.
exactly. So it's like and it's like you knew they're setting up for the big stare down, and then everyone's just like losing their fucking mind. And then for The Rock to do it, and then I think so everyone was expecting Stone Cold when The
Mhm.
Oh,
Rock
that would have
when
been so good.
no, but when you hear the little like
The gong.
the gong, fucking
Yep.
because it's
See
like
that
because
I
you were
audibly
expecting.
lost my shit watching it with my
Yes.
girlfriend in my
Yep.
office. I was like,
Yep. Yeah.
no.
It was very funny. He did just the appearance, and then it was very funny when the lights go off and then he disappears. So then I mean the video online of him running, but like
Oh, dude, the memes
so
from that are
so
amazing.
that happened like right he like obviously we're up, but like our like corner, he's like running through towards the tunnel for that. So everyone's like, "What's that pack of people?" I'm like, "That's Undertaker booking it the fuck out of here." I'm like, I literally was like, "I know he's hurt and running out of there."
Mhm.
That
I'm like he's gonna get into the tunnel and just like collapse on his knees and go, "Oh God,
See, I think it was like
oh
it's a
God."
bit of a stretch. It kind of isn't. It kind of is like, but that was like because you didn't really get that big nostalgia all weekend. I think that was
Right.
like perfect where it's like
It fit.
this makes
Yeah.
sense.
Whereas
But
Austin and The Rock had the bigger history, there was still a history with Rock and Undertaker.
of
Yep.
course, with the entire
Just from
family.
exactly right. Just from just from just from the Attitude
I
Era
saw
stuff.
I saw some meme about how Undertaker's been battling the Anoa'i family for like 4 decades now.
Yep.
It was
Oh
it was
yeah.
like Yokozuna,
Yep.
Rock,
Yep.
uh, the
Up.
other
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably Umaga at some point.
Umanga.
Umanga. Excuse me. Oh my God, I
Umaga.
can't believe I said it wrong. What a fucking idiot I am.
You idiot, John China.
Yeah, but listen, Cody, and then Cody finally hits the third crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Holy
Finish the
hell.
story.
See,
Holy
for me,
hell.
like as somebody who didn't know that history, but with the third Crossroads,
Yeah.
it was like that match had so much climax
Yep.
that the third Crossroads, like I didn't even think that was gonna do it. I was
Neither
like,
did
with
I.
everything that just happened, I was like,
Well,
is that it?
it was also good because I think wrestling fans, I know I do this, is that you tend to get into a habit of like checking the time, because
Yeah, same,
if you
same.
know a show is all right, like if you like all right, like especially back in the day, like all right, well these pay-per-views are usually 3 hours, maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. When you start creeping to like quarter of is when you were like, all right, well like this match probably ending soon. The match ended at like 10:32, give or take. But obviously they
Oh
had like
yeah,
15 minutes for Cody to celebrate and
hmm
stuff,
yeah.
I
like
did like all
planned
the
in.
baby faces coming out and like with him. It
Yeah,
made it feel like
yeah,
much
yeah.
as
And
big as it
right.
should have been.
Yeah, and he did
Yes.
all that, and then having like his mom in the ring and stuff, because that was the whole part of the story too, was he gets to hand his mom the belt that Dusty couldn't, and stuff like that.
I
It was
legit
great. No,
like
it was great.
was
You know what would have been even sicker?
emotional.
You know what would have been even sicker
Mm.
is instead of the Undertaker, it was Gold Dust that appeared out of the blackout.
Oh God.
God. Somebody somebody
He
put
was
up
there. I saw that.
yeah, he had to have been there.
No,
There
they
was a
were like
few
up in it. They were like up in a suite or
there
something
was a
like that.
few AEW guys there. I know Ricky Starks was there.
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah.
But oh shit, what was I about to say? Yeah, I just know that during that moment when he hands the belt to his mom, I was getting verklept.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
everyone was. So you said Samantha Irvin. She was like crying, announcing him as
yeah,
the
she
winner.
was. You
Michael
could hear
Cole.
her voice cracking.
I didn't notice live just because I think we were all just fucking
Yeah,
screaming at
Michael
that point.
Coles was the one I noticed. He's like when he said "I love pro wrestling,"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like the this
Yeah.
is big. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yes.
Sometimes like it's like the old saying goes, the you don't realize you're in the good old days until they're gone type of thing, like
Hmm.
that
Mhm.
cliche, but it's
Yeah.
like this felt like a
No,
moment and you lived in the moment.
no, I said in our preview podcast last week that this WrestleMania build, I feel like is the first time watching wrestling that I'm trying to take this step back and just being like, no, this is okay, no, like look at what we're getting in these past, 3 months. Like, no, this has been awesome. Like, none of this was lost on me for like the first time as a wrestling fan of how cool this has been. Like getting heel Rock again, Hollywood Rock again, and getting, knowing how good the Bloodline story's just been in general this whole time, and seeing this, like, I'm not even gonna say the end because I don't even, they're not done. Like the championship has moved on, but the Bloodline stuff isn't, I don't think is done.
No.
I think what's more impressive about this weekend, more than anything else, is that what was there, 10 matches, right? 10
12, 13, I think, total in WrestleMania.
13.
numbers.
Yeah.
Only one of them was really not great.
Right.
And I think I think what's more impressive more than anything is that with the expectations they had to deliver, I think
Yes.
that's what needs to be, commended here, because they could have easily fucked this up.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Man, listen, like, it's not that I keep, I feel like I just keep praising the new era, or, new era, that we've moved into under Triple H. But again, it's like I said earlier, I have confidence in the people in charge now to not mess this up when it matters the most. Whereas it under the old folks, it is a good chance. I don't think we would have had these last 2 years, really.
no, but you look at, I mean, you look at things similar to it's like we said, like, Logan Paul. Nobody wanted Logan Paul to win, but he did, and it
Right.
was like, but what a great match. You know what I mean? Like, that's, I think, the key is like when something doesn't go the way you wanted to, but you still didn't,
Mhm.
you still enjoyed it. You were like,
Agreed.
well, I like that. That was great, but it's like I said. I think the one big problem I have with the IWC is that, like, well, we want this, and it's like,
Right. You
yeah, but if you always get what you want, isn't that like it becomes not special? And I think that's the thing here is that and plus I think if one thing we've learned too is that
Yep.
the long game is very, very, very powerful. I really
Yes.
do believe that.
Yes.
Yes. When done correctly, as this was, huge.
I think
Yeah.
in my head, I was thinking about what I wanted to say on this podcast, and I guess maybe something I wanted to mention. This is like, and I hate even to bring this up, but it's like, is some of the wrestling on WWE the best you've ever seen athletically? Probably not. I don't think anybody would think LA Knight is, I don't know, Will Ospreay or whatever,
Yeah.
arbitrarily. But the way I look at it is this. I love hockey. I do. I love hockey. I know you guys like football. There's a difference when you're watching, like I'm watching the Rangers game, you guys are watching a Giants game. Let's just say we're watching a Giants game, as opposed to just a football game. We can recognize when a good, like, let's say Steelers Chargers, great game, but like right down the wire, last second field goal, game ending drive. It means more when it's the Giants because it meant something to you. You were invested.
Right.
And that's why, and not to make this about this, but like I think that's where other wrestling companies lose the plot. Is it means more when I care.
Hmm.
Everything else is details.
Yeah.
It means more when I care.
Hmm.
And I think that's what they made you do over the last 2 years. And I think they showed you, hey, patience,
Yep.
patience will pay off.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I've said that again. It's like not to keep bringing up the same points, and because like wrestling is also, I think it's different than sports because wrestling is truly like very subjective and personal.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that can say, WrestleMania is not really my thing. I'm gonna go watch this other show instead, and like that's whereas like I feel like sports, like no one's gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch this double A baseball game instead of the World Series. Maybe there's someone.
You say that though. I love college hockey. And I know you're not like the biggest fan of it.
True. Well, I mean, I guess, but also, but you're still, but that's even different. But you're still talking about like the
But
bet,
think
like
of
the
it this
best
way.
in that.
But think of it this way. If it's like your double A team that is your hometown.
I guess you're right in a sense, but it's like no, I shouldn't even say that. I should say like it's not like debating two different styles of wrestling isn't like debating like you know like a good and a bad like football player or something. It's like like you can't sit there and have an argument with someone like Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, who's the better quarterback. Like there's
I
one
don't know,
there's
man.
like
I don't know.
there's clearly a correct answer. Whereas like if you're gonna go argue about like wrestling
Right.
styles, both people can like make the same. And I know it's like an apples and oranges argument type of thing, but I just think wrestling is more subjective, where people have what they like, people have what they dislike. Some people just want to watch two dudes fucking do moves for 45 minutes and they're good with that. Whereas me and I, for me, like I said, you're preaching to the choir with what you said about making it mean more. To me, I just feel like I've seen enough wrestling moves where it doesn't do anything for me anymore. Whereas I need that. I need the
I need a
story.
story.
I need the story. I need the reason, the match might not be this 5-star classic, but if the story's awesome, I don't give a shit what they do in the match because I want to see how this thing ends.
Well, it's like I said, I think you can, you know, for me, like let's just say, and this is, arbitrarily, you take somebody like Will Ospreay and whoever, you
Mhm.
name the guy. I can appreciate what I watched
Mhm.
and I can look at it, but then it's like, well, why do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, somebody went over, but it's like, well,
Right.
it's not as meaningful. And I think that's
Right.
the difference. I think meaningful is the main difference.
Yes.
And it's I really do think that like sometimes people lose that in the wrestling community, the
Yes.
IWC. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, sometimes people go, like, I think people like forget the fact that Stone Cold was not was towards the end of his lifespan or career, I should say. He's not dead, but is
R.I.P.
we, we miss you, Wade Boggs. Anyway, he barely wrestled. Like he
Yeah.
barely did anything.
Mhm.
But because like you cared about the guy, you like
Yeah.
what he stood for. It's like, who the fuck cares? Like, you know
He
what I
had
mean?
like a 4 or 5 year run, 97,
He's the
96
most
ish
over
to
superstar that ever existed.
like 90,
Ever.
like late 96 to early '02, and you can like cut out like a year or two with injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't around that long
He
No,
in
wasn't, he
realistically,
wasn't,
WWE.
he
no.
wasn't around in like 97, like 97, 98 because of the
As
Owen
at
Hart.
least as far as being an active wrestler goes.
No, right. But then what was his thing when they hit him with a fucking car? What was like the injury for? Like, I feel like he had some other
Neck.
like, right, like another neck. So it's like, and he was out for a while with that. So it's like, you're talking about a 3 to 4 year run. Same with The Rock,
Yeah, but
97 to
it's very
01
rare
and
that you
then
get a
come
guy
back.
that can like
Yeah,
like The Rock that can work
right.
and is like as charismatic and is over. Like that's
Agreed.
rare.
Agreed. Agreed.
I don't know.
But look, Cody, listen, so Cody wins. Listen, I'll quickly throw out we get to Raw. Random awkward segment with The Rock, but I also think the purpose of that was
Long
to
segment.
it was fine though. Listen, Raw's 3 hours. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But I thought it was
Commercial free
fine.
too.
Yeah, for that like first hour. But again, whatever you thought of it, because I know people were like, "This is awkward. This is stupid." It's like, no, they're pressing pause because The Rock's not going to be there. They'll pick the story up when they can.
I think
When
it's
he
gonna be
when he's
Cody
done
versus
filming Fast and Furious 72 or whatever it is
Exactly.
he's going to do.
or
But
finish
right,
promoting
and they
Moana 3.
Moana, yeah, Moana too. Don't
I know, I
don't
know,
get ahead
I
of
know,
yourself.
I know, I know.
But and I think it was all on purpose because they can figure it out in a year if The Rock's going to come back be a heel, if The Rock's going to come back be a face.
I don't think it's gonna be that long.
I hope it's sooner, but I'm just
I
saying,
think
like,
I'm gonna call now Cody versus The Rock SummerSlam.
I'll take it.
And
And
somehow that's actually going to lead to Roman and The Rock at next year's Mania.
there's a Roman babyface turn in here somewhere if he
Yep.
wants The Rock and the Roman. I think again we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think Roman can keep this same character as a babyface. I would love to
In
see
a
it.
way, it's possible.
I think he sort of Roman sort of towed the line
I also,
between
yeah, I also just think with this whole build is that not The Rock,
Bill.
not that The Rock obviously can't be a babyface. He obviously can, but for my personal enjoyment,
He's so much better as a
I
heel, man.
need, I need, I need
Yeah.
this, I need this. And you don't establish this whole final boss character just to go back to like, I hate to use the word like hokey
Mhm.
with The Rock, but like when he would do like his one-off
No, but that's
appearances,
accurate though. It's accurate.
when like, and it's not to say that it's bad, because when he would do like those one-off appearances and just do the catch for play the hits essentially, when he would do like
Mhm.
his appearances, I don't want that to be. I don't want that to be the version of The Rock in a build in any kind of major feud going forward, because I think I'm just we saw it with the Cena stuff, and I'm like, I think for me I'm over it. And this build with heel Rock was so goddamn good that
Yeah.
I don't want to go back.
He's also just
Agreed.
really good at it.
I
Too.
know,
Yep.
but no, but that exactly. He's always been a good heel.
I
Going
think
back
what
to the
made
nation
this
stuff.
heel, I think what made this heel run so special is is a combination of two things, and this is just my own opinion. Is one, I think when The Rock finally got over to become who he is, when he was the heel, that's what it took, and I think that's like that was some of his best work. But two, I think especially with like the mainstream media, with Hollywood, et cetera, everyone sees The Rock in a certain light. Like,
Mhm.
oh, he's the good old guy. He's fucking the big kahuna, whatever the fuck his name is in Moana. But
Maui.
Maui, sure. I think to see him deviate from that like cookie cutter Hollywood, Jimmy Fallon esque
Mhm.
persona is, I think, what really we're like, whoa, this is different, and we're here for it type of
Right.
thing.
Yep.
Right, because it felt like every time I was like, all right, well, he has to keep his Hollywood image, he has to keep his good guy, stuff. And then for this 3 months, he said, fuck all that, man.
Yep.
There is
Literally.
there is some documentary out on YouTube about like almost like insider stuff on this WrestleMania that WWE was putting out. So I am curious to watch
I
that.
Yeah,
saw
I'm
I
curious to
saw
see
the
that
commercial
too.
for that.
Yeah. So I'll have to check that out. And I feel like we can't end this podcast without, at least me, I have to praise Roman Reigns, because for all the criticism and all the flack that he got, especially over the last 18 months of this title reign, was undeserved, was stupid, um, just people complaining for no reason, to call him a bad champion, to call him lazy, to call him all this is just a crock of shit, personally.
He actually got thank you
Um,
Roman chants on Raw last
And he
night.
should have, but it's like all the people that were criticizing him for all these, like, he never shows up, he never does this. Yeah, and there's a fucking reason for it. Because then when he shows up, it is fucking special.
Yep.
When you have your guy there every week, you start to not give a shit.
Yep.
So it's like, say what you want about the Brock stuff prior. Granted, that stuff was a little worse, just because like the roster really had nothing. The
Yeah.
roster at that time really had nothing else.
Right.
Whereas I think the roster now, they clearly survived without having like world title matches for a long time. When Roman wouldn't be on certain pay-per-views, the shows were still good.
Yeah.
So it was like, and he changed the industry. He carried that company through the pandemic and then into where we're at now. And I don't think he's done by any means. Clearly, again, I mentioned it. Triple H said in that press conference after Sunday that Roman's going to have like all other stories ready to go, but it's just, I don't know. I think people shouldn't dismiss this title reign as, oh well, he only defended it this number of times. It's like, bro, who fucking cares? Like, it's the same. I've said it a million times. It's the same shit as like a boxer or UFC. Someone like Conor McGregor is like the one of the biggest stars on the planet for that. And what did he have? What would he? And because you shouldn't fight more often than that, but what would he fight 3 times a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and and McGregor he would fight a lot
Yeah,
comparatively to other champions. So
of
usually
course.
you would only get twice a year, but with McGregor it was almost three.
That's what I mean. But it's like why should, yes, in theory wrestling's different, because like no, you're not like killing your body like some of those guys could, when they
Mhm.
get when they fight like that. But it's like, why? When Roman showed up, you watched the fucking show. People bought tickets. People,
It meant something. It was important.
People talked about it. It was important. That's what matters. It's like, why? Like, why should Roman Reigns fucking be there every week? I get it. I get it. I get like the business side of it. Like, well, he's your champ. You should be there. But like, fucking worked, man, for what they did. Like, I just didn't see an issue during this time.
Nope.
And he should be recognized for how great a title it's the greatest title run, because all the guys that held the title longer than him were in different eras where there wasn't weekly TV. There wasn't, all these pay-per-views. There wasn't all these shows. So to hold the title for this long in this time period where people's attention spans are non-existent is fucking incredible, and it's never going to happen again.
I agree.
Yep. Agreed.
Until the hurricane comes back.
Oh my God. It just, and I hope people realize that. And, it sucks if you didn't, because
It's tough. It's tough for people to really, and especially as you get older, like you guys as dads, me as just a fuckhead. But to realize when things are special in the moment, like sometimes it's hard to take that step back and appreciate, like, wow, this Roman's reign is really special. Like it's hard. You don't, and it is cliche, but you don't realize what you have until it's gone. Sometimes
Yep.
you really don't.
Because I think a lot of wrestling fans realize that's what we did with Cena,
Right.
myself included, to the point where now, like, when he comes back, it's like, when he comes back, like, I've never seen like a chant go away, like the John Cena sucks chant to the tune of his song.
John Cena sucks.
Yeah. I've never, even like Kurt Angle, people do the "you suck" out of like a respect thing at this point, because it's like that's the thing. But
Plus,
it's like,
he plays into it too.
oh
Like,
no,
he's
for
like,
sure, for sure, for sure.
And
But it's
he's
like,
high on Percocet.
well, not now.
Not now that we know of.
Supposedly, not now.
Allegedly.
That's another documentary that if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. The Kurt Angle doc. I think it's Peacock or wherever, but
It's on the cock.
yes, but that's another one that, holy hell. But yeah, like, like we did it with John Cena. We probably did it with Triple H to an extent. I think it's, now's the time to realize, like, these guys have a shelf life, and when something's good, just, at least for me, I'm gonna sit back and just see what happens. I'm done bitching. I'm done with the fucking complaining like I did when I was 21. I bitch online all the time 10 years ago, 12 years ago, but now I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm watching this like I watch a movie every week. Let's see where they go. And again, they made it clear, new era. So I'm excited for where we're going, because again, I mentioned it at the jump. This feels like a soft reset, a fresh start. Finally, this time, that we're going to stick to, and very excited with the folks in charge.
Yep. Agreed.
I have my window open and I can hear an owl outside. It's very strange.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Final thoughts, gentlemen?
This was a fantastic WrestleMania. I'm happy that I went. I'm happy that I went to Sunday. I didn't, I think it would have been overdoing it for me personally to go
That's
both.
too much. Yeah, it's too much.
I mean, I would have, but it's like, I can't spend 2 nights in fucking Philadelphia. That's
No.
You don't do crack for one.
that's 2 nights.
Also, can I say this? Cheesesteaks, most overrated food of all time. It's shitty meat, shitty cheese.
No, well, hold on.
Shitty meat, shitty cheese.
Yeah,
shitty bread, onions.
If you get it from a shitty place, it is. But if you go to a place that
I'm
uses
not saying it's
steak,
not good, but it's not like this fucking delicacy that people make it out to be.
No,
I'm not gonna say that. Yeah.
No, but a good cheesesteak is good.
Yeah, cheesesteak
again, but it's like not even top 10 sandwich.
I mean, I can agree. If I can agree that if I never ate another cheesesteak, I wouldn't be mad about it.
Let's name top 10 sandwiches of all time, starting with number.
Fuck.
That's a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Reuben, pretty fucking solid.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
I don't like corned beef. I don't like pastrami.
Nope. Same.
And
No
that's
kidding.
a food poisoning thing. Like it's like I know it's good.
Mm,
Got food poisoning from bad corned beef one
mm,
time. I'm a bad
gotcha.
Irishman. But Skylar,
Um,
your final thoughts?
One of the greatest WrestleManias I've ever seen, one of the most important main events I've ever seen, and this
mhm.
is one of the few times where I sat there and said, "This truly is a new era."
Yep.
Bruce?
I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I just that was all I kept thinking was, especially like Sunday felt like such a reset into this new era, and again, I think we need to change the way we almost look at it as WrestleMania is WrestleMania is now a climax and a beginning.
Yep.
It's no longer just the blow off show and we'll figure it out tomorrow. WrestleMania is just another chapter in a bigger picture at this point. And I think that's how we have to look at least how WWE tells stories until we're proven otherwise, because the storytelling we're getting in every story at this point, it's not, the main event was so good, but even the lesser stuff, it just there's so many things.
It all mattered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every little thing, they're not everything means something now. There isn't much stuff put out there for no reason at this point.
Yep.
And it's changing how we view and watch shows for the better going forward.
I agree. Guess my final thoughts and wrap this up and put a pretty little bow on this
Mm,
podcast that's gone on
Sprinkle,
for almost 2 hours.
sprinkle some crack on it.
Yeah. Bingo. I need to find that bingo card, by the way, because I don't know where it is, and that was great. But I will say this right now, they're at a great spot. And I know I teased this earlier in my thoughts, and I will say this, and I will quote one with WWE and where it is, and I know you guys don't like the whole tribalism thing, but the way things are going right now, I'm going to quote one Corrado Soprano. Some people are so far behind, they actually think they're winning. And I believe right now, WWE is doing things that are so good. We might not even appreciate this until like 20 years down the road.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
It's a really special moment to understand it's a special moment in real time. And I think a lot of the time people don't realize that, but I think we all were like, we just saw something very, very special.
Yeah.
And I do believe that more than anything, they should be applauded for delivering when
Yep.
this could have gone either way.
Yep.
Yep.
I
So,
don't.
yeah.
I'll add one more thing to where I don't know if I've seen something so important that I realize is important play out in real time since that first Undertaker Shawn Michaels match.
That's fair.
Fair.
God damn, so
All right.
fucking good.
Sprinkle some crack on this.
Yeah. Some plugs. Once again, Coliseum Pro Wrestling Opportunity for Success 3, Friday night, April 26th, just 2 weeks away.
We'll be there.
We will be there. The Elks Lodge, West Haven, Connecticut.
Leave early.
Yeah, this is Connecticut on a Friday. Whew, there's gonna be some traffic, man.
Leave now.
Yeah, just yeah, get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, have yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, just go there. Just go park the car in West Haven. I'm not sure where to park in West Haven.
Just on the street, it's fine.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My
Coliseum.
old hometown, yeah.
I was gonna say, there you go. Can we park at Rose Street?
Oh God. That's East Haven, but
Oh fuck.
RIP. We miss you.
All right. We'll walk.
Yeah, good luck.
Fuck it. We'll walk.
All right.
But yeah, Coliseum Pro Wrestling on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for any information that you need on them. Give it all a follow and hey, be at the show. 26, 2 weeks away. You got nothing going on? Show up.
Yep.
Follow us at Six Man Tag Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, X, Twitter. I don't fucking care.
X gonna give it to you.
X gonna fucking do something to Elon. I don't know, bro. By the way, saw Cybertruck like actually like up close, like while I was walking back to work like yesterday. I don't like
Nope.
There's
This
no
is
reason.
not Blade Runner.
Like, right. It's like there really is no reason to buy this car except to just promote that you're probably an asshole.
You probably voted for Trump. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like it really looks like the stupidest thing I've ever seen as a car. Like
Yeah.
it's as stupid in person as it is in pictures. Just figured I'd throw that out there. But
Fair.
anyway, but
The
yeah.
the number 6.
Oh, yeah, listen, if you spell the word six, just I don't know, man, fuck you at this point. We've been doing this bit long enough that you should if you're a regular listener and you don't know to tell your friends and family to type the number six instead of spell out the word six, just honestly fuck you.
Yeah. Fuck you. Just
Again, we got stickers. Hey, we'll have stickers at the show in
Come through.
Connecticut at the Coliseum Pro Wrestling Show. We'll have some stickers for you. Yeah, and if you want one, just send a DM. That's all. Just follow us, send a DM. I'll literally mail you one.
Yep.
That's all.
Actually,
Yeah.
you need to send me some.
I know I do.
I actually have one. I don't know if you can see it, but hold on. It's on my PlayStation.
Sick.
Nice.
That could be yours for the low price of free.
Ones.
All right, so I'm gonna make this quick. You can
For
just follow
free,
me.
free PlayStation? I'll take
Actually, what? No, actually, but just because I'm gonna piss my pants if I don't do this soon. Who would have thought drinking 5 beers during this podcast would go well?
Huh.
You can follow me, YouTube, Denny Janetti MTB. If you like moderate, okay, mountain bike POV videos, that's me. And then hit me up on Instagram at Denny Janetti, like Marty Janetti. So that's it. All right,
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
sign off now. Love you guys. Bye.
Hey, go piss. You can follow CJ's stuff. The Paperweight Project is on SoundCloud. You can go to soundcloud.com/the Paperweight Project. He's got a few other things. I know he's got his gambling stream on Kick. I forget the actual URL that he said, but we'll link it and everything below. Don't you worry.
And he'll be
And,
back.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back next week. Again, we're gonna have, I'm planning on having the House of Pain either next week or the week after to talk Starrcade 1990 and just, of course, plug the Coliseum Pro Wrestling show on April the 26th. But yeah, give us your plug, Skylar, and then we'll close this one out.
Right now, just kind of focusing on trying to do stuff with the Facebook page.
All right, fair. Good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
I haven't really been gaming much in the last couple of weeks, but I'm sure I'll
Feel that.
start that up again soon.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah, we'll put your links out there when the time comes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you for listening to our. I feel like this recap of WrestleMania 40 was almost as long as the actual WrestleMania 40. So
Yes.
we'll stop taking up your time and get out of here.
Mhm.
But hey, until next time, for Dennis, for Skylar, for CJ's tummy ache, I'm Mike. Till next time, peace, everybody.
Peace.
See ya.